This conference will now be recorded.
All right, I'd like to begin the budget work session / you always have to have the meeting part at the beginning for September 3rd of the Ennis Town Hall with roll call of the council. Mr. Abernathy?
Here.
Mr. Way?
Here.
Ms. Palmerton is absent. Ms. Hankins? And Hardy.
Here.
All right, if we could all stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We'll now open it to public comment on non-agenda items. Second call for public comment on non-agenda items. Anything from online for public comment on non-agenda items? Seeing no comment on non-agenda items, we'll close that. And then we can adjourn from the regular portion and go straight into budget work session. Is there a motion?
To adjourn.
Mm-hmm.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
All right. Mr. Abernathy, go start us.
Aye.
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 All right. Can we start with, we'll start with PD and then go into Eric's Parks, since they're right here, and then we can get them out of their section. Does that work with you guys?
Yeah, can I ask a question first?
Yes.
Shouldn't we have a meeting to go over the audit findings before we're looking at the budget?
Yeah.
Okay. I would agree.
Oh, and then we'll put that into Karen and with the,
Oh, Karen, sure.
do the thing.
Great.
Okay. John, do you want to present your section first?
In your folder, you should have the simplified version of my budget. It's placed in your folder. Basically breaks down every line item, what it's used for, what it's there for. So does anybody have any questions?
I'm looking for it.
So it's page 3 of 30 on here.
Yep.
I love Karen and John's versions of it. It makes it super palpable, I guess.
So am I gonna find this here?
Can you tell me, is the 7% increase in wages normal, or would 3% be?
Shows 3%, doesn't it?
It's
I
3%.
thought it says 7
It shows 3%.
3%.
I think so.
3%.
on the
Last year
expenditure.
was 2633, 2712. That's a 3% raise.
On the expenditure?
No, on his budget, go into the folder.
Well, I see that, but then on the expenditure it says 7%, doesn't it?
So which line item are you looking at? First?
Salaries and wages,
Okay.
The
So
127.
the reason that went up is we bumped the second officer position up to $23 an hour to try to get more interest in that position.
Okay.
And you're expecting to fill that
I've
here?
been trying to fill it, yeah. Housing's a big problem.
Yeah.
Yep, and I mean, if you go online and look,
Do you
there's
want me to just print it?
19 other police departments and
Off of
sheriff's
mine?
departments that are open right now. They've been looking for people and they've been open as long as we have.
Oh, really? Okay.
So you can just Google it, police officer jobs in Montana, and you'll see the list. So unfortunately, it's where it is. Nobody wants to be a cop right now.
Can I just make a copy of that so it's easier to find?
What's that?
Trying to find it in Drive.
So it's on the commissioner folder, under today's meeting.
Go back to my Drive.
And the $5,000 hiring, is that like a bonus or?
No, so the 5,000 hiring is because we have to, by state statute, we have to put them through a psych eval, we have to put them through a medical eval, and then we have to, and we are required to pay for all of that. So that's part of the hiring process.
Okay.
I'm not convinced we need a second officer. We've been operating with one since December of last year.
Well, the problem is the voters selected to have a second police officer. So
And the
we
mills.
are actually required to have a second police officer.
So we're also on that, where's the money going for the wages for that second officer? Where
So
are
the
they?
second officer, if you flip on the one that I presented, I actually broke it down for you, it's page 3. So if you look at the school MOU from last year, because it was paid in July, there's $5,000 coming into the police department. Then the second officer remaining monies from the fiscal 23-24 school year is 25,000 and change. And then the second officer mill levy for this fiscal year is $50,000. So that's $80,675 that doesn't touch general fund. That's money that general fund never comes from general fund. That's just police department money's coming in. So, and if you look at the bottom line, our budget went up 3.8% this year. Obviously, prices have gone up. However, I've decreased the amount we've taken from general fund by 11%.
Okay. So where is, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time understanding, where is that $85,000?
The $80,000, 676,
Yeah.
that's in a separate account because that's the mill levy for the second officer. Or
Okay.
minus 5,000 from the SRO MOU.
Okay, like in a cash reserve account?
No, it's just Ginger Brewer did.
Well, it is one of those that has to roll because it's a voted mill. So it rolls into, I mean, it is general fund, but it's treated separate if it's
Okay.
not used.
Okay.
Then it rolls over to this year.
It's similar to the enterprise funds. The money is just there for the second officer.
Okay. Does that expire after a certain time? Okay. Okay. But we're not using that money until we have a second
Until we have a
officer.
second officer, correct.
Okay.
So that is, so that the money for that is used under part of the contract services, because it's 1.5 mil is what I estimated per officer. And then part of the, obviously his wages, the wages there, which is 58. And then the 5,000 for the, I think it was 5,000 for the police department hiring. So that's where that money ends up going.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I had a question about the mobile communication on your breakdown.
Okay?
What is that?
So we have
Because it's
to have
not
internet in our
dispatch.
cars to be able to connect to dispatch. So we have hotspots, they're hard mounted, they're actually wired into our vehicle. So we have to have internet connectivity within our vehicles docked, because it has to be a secure connection to dispatch. So literally we drop our computers in the car, we lock them in, they lock into a dock. That creates a LAN connection. It's not even Wi-Fi, it creates a LAN connection to the modem in the back, which goes right to dispatch.
Okay.
Because we have to have that for the CGIN and the mobile program called server that we share with the sheriff's office.
Okay, so that's separate than dispatch, the services we're paying for dispatch.
Yes, that is completely separate, yes.
Okay.
It's basically a cellular bill is what it is. It's basically a cellular hotspot that you would have, but it's hard mounted, designed, tire power, designed for mounting in the cars.
Okay. And then dispatch increased just according to the mill
Yep.
value, is that right?
So dispatch, yep, so dispatch was 1.5 mills per officer because that's what we offered. The county was the 1.5 mills. So we, and that is that's based off of the 1.5 mills. But it was estimated at the time I wrote this, so it's gonna be, I think it's a little bit less than that actually. Because it's based off of the county mills we didn't have at the time. I had to estimate.
I thought we based it off of a mill value from last year.
Yeah.
4,959, and it's, this year's mill was 5,37. Yeah.
And we didn't use any of that contract services money last year, so that just rolled back into general fund because they chose not to do anything with it. So literally that money just rolled right back into the general fund. Also, I have multiple emails going back and forth with the county. They chose not to bill us last year for the Central Square, which was about $2,500 last year. So that also rolled back into the general fund too. So that was money that just went back in because they never chose to bill us for it. So.
Okay.
I have the emails going back and forth with Christine where she's like, I can't find the bills. I don't know what to do. Okay.
But we still left it in here for this year under other purchase.
Well,
correct?
it's still in there. It's the same amount, but I did
Yeah.
not include last year's amount because I got the emails from her like, don't worry about it.
We didn't
We can't
double
figure
it.
it out.
We didn't double it, we just went with the previous.
So we're paying for 2 officers, right? The calculated money for dispatch is for 2
It's
officers.
for 2 officers, correct. So that potentially, if we don't hire somebody, that will be half of that. If dispatch if they choose to take the 1.5 mils. I budgeted for it because there's a possibility it's there, a probability, I'm hoping that they'll come to their senses, who knows? Because I think we need to pay for dispatch services, I don't disagree with that one bit.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Insurance, why did it go down so much this year?
Because you only got me.
Oh, is it per? Okay.
Yep, it's
So
based,
its
it's
liability
based on
is based on
That,
the hours.
that makes sense.
So that's why the insurance went down.
All right, that makes sense. You say insurance never goes down.
I had the same. So are there any other questions? Anything?
And I try to, and I've been making sure that I keep my vacation time and my vacation time down to keep the compensated absences at least well below the state required amount, so that's not a problem either.
So it says on last year's audit, it said there was excess vacation. Did
I
you?
was not included in that, no. I try very hard to make sure that my hours stay within that 2.5 times your annual accrual rate.
Okay. Perfect.
You guys have any questions on the breakdowns or anything?
So that's the PD portion.
Well, I guess I have a question. So insurance, if we do hire another officer,
It won't
is
go
this
up.
retroactive?
It won't go up this year, it'll go up next year.
Okay.
Okay.
And I decreased the gasoline budget too, just because I knew that somebody wasn't gonna, there may not be somebody to start off with the year, so I dropped that another 2,000 also. So like I said, it's the general fund monies that the police department's required to be paid out of, I dropped that 11%, trying to be fiscally responsible for everybody.
And this car replacement, that's just 5,000 we dump in every year?
So it's 5,000 out of the police department, 5,000 out of just general fund. So it's 10,000 every year for car replacement.
And then
It just
every-
goes into a capital improvement fund, and then when we need a new car,
We have a little
say,
money
"Hey, we
sitting
need a new
there."
car." Yep. And that'll probably be next budget year is when we start doing that.
Do we still have the Tahoe?
It's the repair shop.
Yep. They have to replace, so when a pursuit vehicle gets into a crash, they have to put, the insurance company wants them to put all original parts on there, nothing aftermarket, because it is a pursuit rated vehicle. So they are apparently waiting on 2 parts for it.
And animal control is pretty standard.
The animal control is pretty simple. I think I put that on the very last page. It's 420130. or that's at 440, 600. Operating supplies, basically that just pays for our licensing program for the dogs every year. Leaves $100 if you need a pair of white gloves or something in there. And then other purchase services that we rarely touch, but I have to have it there because if I seize a dog and we don't have the owner and we have to quarantine it for rabies, we have to pay for that. We are required. I don't have a choice in the matter on that. So that's.
Where would you take the dog?
They go up to Heart of the Valley. But if they have to sit on them, if they have to sit on them, we are required to pay them for the rabies quarantine. It's about $600 a pop, so in case I get two, that money sits there. Last year, all that money got returned. So the personal training, that is monies from the state that's paid back to the town. That is for training purposes only. It cannot be used for anything else. It's very specific in Montana code, and I list the Montana code if you guys want to read it. It can only be used for training purposes, and that also is nice because that's where all my training funds come from. So we don't have to hit general fund for the training because the state does that for us. It's part of our retirement system where they pay back some of that money because I don't know exactly what the reasoning was behind it, but it's part of our PERS retirement system. That's where that money is allocated from.
Is this enough money to send someone to like the academy?
The academy is $1,800. That's it.
That's it?
It's it. It's a state fund. The meal plan might have gone up. That's what it was when Matt went through it. The meal plan might have gone up. I think that they got a new caterer and it might have gone up. But yeah, it's a state funded agency. So the state, it's funded through traffic citations. They get, I think it's 3% of certain traffic citations. And there's another tax thing that goes towards the academy. So yeah, that's where we get lucky is that it's a state-run academy.
Can anybody attend that, or do you have to have like a
You have to be
sponsor?
sponsored, but you have to be sponsored by a law enforcement agency. So you have to be hired by an agency to attend the academy.
And so if we hire somebody and they have to go to that, we have to pay this person while they're
Correct.
attending, correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's 3 months. State law says they have to attend it within 1 year.
Okay.
So a lot of times what you'll do is like, so if I were to hire somebody tomorrow, you end up getting, you put in the academy, say, hey, I got somebody I just hired. They'll say, okay, our next open slot is usually at least one academy class away, which is 3 months. Sometimes it's 6 months away. So you at least got time to put them on the street to see if they're gonna, to start running through field training to see if they're even gonna fit. Because you can cancel that class up to the day that it starts if that person is not going to fit for a law enforcement officer. And it does happen sometimes.
And the last one, they were actually full and the county let us use the spot. Was that right?
They
For
were.
Matt?
Yeah, they actually, so the last one for Matt, Phil actually donated one of his spots when he was sheriff for Matt to go to the academy.
Oh, dude.
Because it was full.
So, and we work deals like that too, they say, well, Bozeman's got 3, I'll call up to Belcamp and say, hey, are you sending 3? No, can I have one of your spots? And then, yeah, sure, no problem. And, so we work deals like that all the time.
But we still pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, oh yes, we are required to.
All right. Any other questions in that section? And then into the last bit, which is IT.
You guys have the breakdown of the IT stuff also on that last page number 4.
This 300 hours, is that what you worked last year in IT, or is that just an estimate, or is
That's
that?
an average of the last 2 years is generally what we do.
Okay.
So we look, and then, we average it out, we take, so I look at how much I've done, because I document how much Public Works gets, how much, just general gets, and so, depending on what it is, We break that down, usually it ends up being Public Works gets about 25% of the bill for the IT.
And that gets billed back to Public Works,
Correct.
Parks, but
Yep.
all,
So realistically, take 75% of the $300, and that's actually town, the rest goes to water and sewer, mostly
Okay.
water, because that's what we work on.
And isn't there more upcoming this year with?
Yep, we've got a bunch of stuff planned with the system. For years, we've been building basically, it used to be called the SCADA system. It used to be run wirelessly over basically mini two-way radios to communicate between the wells and the pump houses. We upgraded everything over the course of the past 7 years to all over internet. Everything's on the internet now, basically. So it's all IP backbone or internet protocol backbone. So everything is communicating, so we can literally look and see, hey, we lost communications from here to here. So we can diagnose it super fast. We don't have to go reset all the modems, hopefully, and try to figure out which one's not gonna have to run between pump houses. Eric or I can sit here and literally look at it. We also have on all the pump houses, everything, we have door sensors that, so if you leave a door open for more than 10 minutes, we get alerts to our phones. That's really important in the winter because it happened one winter and we were very lucky that we did not freeze out the Southburst pump because somebody left the door open and it didn't close all the way, the wind blew it open. And we caught that right before, I mean, it was like 42 degrees and dropping rapidly in that room. And then also in there, we have temperature sensors on there too. So even if the heaters fail in there, we know that the heaters have failed. So even if the doors closed, we know that the heaters have failed so that, hey, wait a minute, we need to get on that to make sure that we don't freeze up a pump, we don't freeze up anything.
what insurance for IT? What,
It's through MMIA, that's gonna be a Ginger question.
So that's part of the cybersecurity, isn't it?
Not the
No.
liability.
The
based off
liability.
of wages.
say that again, Ginger? I didn't,
It's liability insurance and it's based off of wages.
okay. So that's just the portion of the whole bundle for the town that it
Yes,
gets credited or deducted for IT.
right. You charge out and it's last year's wages.
Okay.
Is what we have to go off of.
Mhm.
So we had 2 officers for what, half a year?
Yeah.
So that's why, and if we were to not get another officer next year, it would likely go down because the wages wouldn't.
Because it's always off of last year's number.
Mayor, I reached out for a quote. Can I distribute this?
Yep.
I didn't really know what I was asking for, but they were very helpful in trying to help. So if we could call back, we could get an absolutely accurate quote. I think this is just, like I said, I had no idea what I was actually pricing, but this is for 6 PCs, 1 server, 1 firewall, 6 laptops. Then each additional computer would be another, whatever, $75 per month. So with what I quoted was $1,051 per month.
I have 4 computers each well.
Okay, like I said, I had no idea what I was quoting because I don't know what
Yeah,
all
and
it
you're looking at
entails.
the PD, we've got 4, plus we have 2 network attached servers that are our backups for all of our data, like mission meetings and all that. I wish you would have reached out, I could have given you everything that's on the network. I could just run a quick report of that and literally just giving you everything there. I forget what it was last year. I sent you guys an email last year of how many devices we had on the network, because somebody asked that question. I could go dig that up if you want. We've reduced it by a few because what we've done is the office staff don't have a separate laptop and a separate computer now. As we replace them, we went to laptops with docking stations just to save money. So now they just have a laptop that they can take with them or plug into the docking station, so they essentially have a desktop. So we've actually reduced basically 3 computers off of that from last year.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, it doesn't have to be right now,
Yeah.
just sometime here, could you get us a list of like how many devices are on this system?
Do you want every device that's on the system? Because now we have our points that have to be monitored. You have, so give you an idea.
Yeah.
So if you're at town hall, we have an antenna up on town hall.
Mhm.
That antenna broadcasts throughout this upper area of town. North 40 has a receiving antenna, but then another broadcast antenna. So North 40 receives that signal,
Yep.
rebroadcasts it down to the sewage lagoon. So you've got both buildings down at the
Okay.
sewage lagoon, then it goes to the Lions Park bathrooms. From North 40, then it also goes up to the water tower, because that's a clear line of sight to the water tower.
Mhm.
Then from here, you go to the Comley, then Comley goes down to South First.
Okay,
So you've got a device in every one of those spots.
Yeah.
Some of them have multiples because it's rebroadcasting.
Yeah.
So you've got, I mean, if you want every device,
Well,
we're probably over 100 devices.
yeah, I think what Commissioner Hankins was asking, and correct me if I'm wrong, but just an idea of what the IT entails, you know, what's all there,
I will send you guys a job description. It's been out since 2021 for
oh,
IT.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, there's a job description for IT. It's been out since 2021.
Well, that would be super handy.
Nikki, can you?
Yeah, you might have to plug it in. It says
Oh, is
that's
it?
alerted.
Never mind.
No, it's,
I'll send it to you guys later on tonight.
sorry. What, I guess I can call them and ask psyching button to alert DIS of any suspected emails, any suspect emails. So those go through right now. And then John, it pops up when we have like the phishing emails. And then usually then we have a conversation again on, or training in-house, and in your boxes, there was the last alert. And I know we've talked about it several times. And no matter how much we do it, Susie still gets them. Hers was more convincing even last week.
They like to target the courts for some reason. When your
Okay.
name's attached to a court, they like to target the court people for some reason. So it's kind of a statewide thing.
Oh, okay. So that explains why Susie's always, keep it on the down low between you and me. Can you buy some gift cards or something? I think is how the.
So, and you guys have to remember too, IT doesn't just do the server stuff. We do the phones, we do the video system. I fix his video systems, like on the sewer camera. That's part of what IT does, is I fix their sewer camera when that goes down. How many times did I fix that there?
Lots.
So
I
there's,
just want you guys to think about this. I gotta say this. It is so valuable for me having this here. The thought of calling somebody at 3 a.m. and hoping they answer to help me out is I just don't get it. I have to say that.
And I understand that. I think a lot of where the rub has happened in the past is we don't understand what you do for IT.
and nobody's ever asked.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
We can
Yeah.
do a training. If you
That's
guys
what
want, we
I
can
think
do
we're
a
asking.
training.
What does that entail? Exactly.
It also entails maintaining two-way radio systems for the town. I program all the radios, I maintain all that. We're switching over to a statewide phone system coming up here shortly. If we were to send those radios out to have them programmed, it's $250 each radio to have them programmed. I can go, I can
Nice.
do that, and if it's for the PD, I don't even do it on IT time, I just do it on PD time. The other thing is all of our PD IT is done when I'm working or when I'm, have time. I don't bill separately IT hours for the PD.
Sure.
That's all included in everything. So when we have a mobile terminal that goes down, and so you'd have to call TAC, have them come out, fix docking station, do something else. We just do it all here. We also do all the 12-volt wiring for IT. Also does all the 12-volt wiring for the vehicles. So the lights on the lights on all the patrol cars, lights on all his vehicles, the yellow flashing lights, all the two-way radios installed, all of that stuff IT also does.
Yeah, I had no idea what's here or what IT does here.
Yeah.
So,
And all of this,
Yeah.
all the networking and everything that was done is all, I ran everything that's here. So that's not, IT normally just does your internet and your computers. And you have to hire contractors to come in and do everything else. I do it all.
yeah, if you could send that job description in a summary of what's here.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't have to be
Yeah, I can run an IP list and look and see which computers we have connected and kind of isolate that, not a problem.
That'd be perfect. Thank you.
Nikki, did your quote come from a company that's dealt with town?
Municipalities, yeah, they
Yeah.
deal with
Okay,
municipalities.
Yeah, yes. Bundled with library.
It was just a thought, that way there weren't two separate invoices and bills.
And that's great work, and thanks for reaching out and doing that, Nikki. I don't think we're comparing apples and apples.
Right, with this
Yeah,
quote, for sure.
yeah.
I try to save the town money by doing it ourselves. I have the know-how, I have the knowledge. Eric calls me, we had the pressure sensor go down on the well, was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? We hunted that down within an hour. We figured out where it was, what was going on. We couldn't fix it right away because it was a bad sensor, but, it was real quick to be able to do. I was, in town, so I was able to look everything up right away. We literally pin it down to, it's up the water tower, we're good, okay, let's get up there and figure out what's going on.
But not.
Yeah, that information would be super handy. Thank you.
So many questions. Advanced endpoint protection.
So on the equipment, I have a rotating budget for the IT for the equipment that we use. Some of it is getting ancient. Public Works in their buildings, they pay for their own equipment. So this is just town equipment. We had the lightning strike hit, took out 2 of our UPSs during that lightning strike, but they did what they were supposed to do. They cooked instead of letting all the computers and everything else cook. So I did have to replace those already this year. But most of them I just replace the batteries in every other year on a cycle, so we don't have any problems with any of the equipment. Everything's on, since we don't have a generator, everything's run on UPS backups right now, which gives us about 45 minutes of time once we lose power, and then after that, we have no internet, no nothing. But the replacement stuff, unfortunately, equipment prices are going up and up and up. We do have 3 switches upstairs that will need to be replaced. They are the oldest ones we have in the building right now, and they are, I believe, 8 years old.
And that's all under this equipment replacement?
Equipment replacement,
That-
yep, that's all budgeted for, that's under that, yep. The email workspace, we got no choice on, because we added I think I put it in there, we added the planning board, the library and zoning board to our emails, so we pay per seat with our emails. So, that went up right there.
And that's just a G Suite
Yep.
thing.
Yep, and
Yep.
G Suite is the most secure option that we have. I would not recommend switching to anything else or an internal server, just ask the county how the internal server works. And then the other purchase services are the antiviruses for all the town computers. PD's not included because we have a specific package because we have criminal justice information. The state says you have to use this program, so that's part of the PD's budget. Webpage, domain names, the SSL certificate, which is the security layer certificate for the website. And then we also added Black Mountain at your guys' request this year to that amount. And then the telephone and telegraph is the internet and the phone system. When we put in the IP phone system here, we went from paying about $130 a month for the phones down to, it averages about $36 a month now. Is there any other questions on?
No.
So, Nikki, do you have another copy of this?
Mhm.
Can I give this to Officer Moore so that when he's giving you the device numbers and everything else where it's got its, these extras? I'm definitely not advanced enough to know what advanced endpoint protection with AI learning is.
So advanced
They told me,
endpoint
but I can't
protection
remember.
is essentially a firewall that's your endpoint. All of our computers in here have advanced endpoint protection on them. It is locked down, so nobody can turn it off, nobody can do anything. And the AI detection basically looks for not a specific signature. Old antiviruses used to look for something that was XYZ. If it was XYZ, boom, it flagged it. The AI, what it does is it looks for any variant of an XYZ. So it could be XYZ123, and the advanced AI will catch that. And all of the computers in here have the advanced, have Advanced, which is the advanced AI with the endpoint protection on it. So we already pay for it, we already have it on our computers.
So I'll give you.
And that recommendation came from the state.
I'll give you this so that, that kind of guides you through any of the other apples to apples
Okay.
versus
So,
apples and oranges.
We don't run a server. A server, for as small as we are, we have the G Suite. So everything goes to the cloud with G Suite. With a server, they run everything through the server, everything connected to the server. It just gives you one more thing. If they hack that server, they get everything. If they hack a computer, they only get what's on that, potentially on that computer. So everything that we have is on the cloud right now with G Suite. So everybody has their own login, everybody is tied to their email, just like you guys do. So everything is put there. So we do not run a server. What we do is we run a point protection, essentially, which is an internet controller that comes in that has artificial intelligence in it. It's made by Ubiquiti. So what that does is that it's automatically set to filter anything that comes from certain countries, China, Russia, Ukraine, anything like that, it automatically just blocks it. And it also monitors the traffic that's going back and forth through it to see if anything looks suspicious. If it looks suspicious, it immediately flags it. It'll stop that traffic. I get an email alert that says suspicious activity. I can look at that and say, oh, it's just a Windows update from somebody doing, or, oh, no, that doesn't look quite right. Then what happens is when somebody comes in here and tries to plug into one of our Ethernet connections, it's happened a few times, it gets shut off immediately by that endpoint because they're trying to access a network they don't have permission to. And then I can go, oh, okay, that's valid, and just hit okay and allow it, or hey, somebody's trying to hack our network, we need to do that. So, I mean, you can see this right behind you, there's desk in there, it's a really robust system. We've had 0 intrusions whatsoever. When the state tests the network for the CGIN access, we've had 0 intrusions, 0 problems with it whatsoever. And it's frequently, I should also add this, about every 2 weeks or so, they're pushing updates to the firewall and for known problems and known issues. We also use Cloudflare DNS, which DNS is domain name server. So anytime you type in google.com, it goes to a domain name server. That domain name server converts it to an internet address. So what Cloudflare does, though, is we set blocking all spyware sites, all spyware scammer sites. So if you try to go to a site that is not permitted by Cloudflare, it's another layer of protection for us that protects. So if somebody clicks on one of those ad links in Facebook or whatever, all of a sudden it's like, whoop, wait a minute, and you just get this big screen that says blocked by Cloudflare. It's another layer of protection for our computers.
Any other questions for John on that one? All right,
Okay,
I think that's all your
Does
sections.
anybody have any other questions? Craig? Nikki, do you have any other questions? Corey? Okay. Thank you.
All right, Karen, Eric, you want to flip a coin?
Karen's isn't,
Karen's isn't very long. Is that okay? You're
But-
always more.
her breakdown's also not in here, right?
I have copies. I wasn't sure if it was this, I didn't see it in the
An updated one.
folder.
Thank you, Karen.
I just haven't looked at it since you updated.
I think we got through all of this. All right, so this is page 7 in expenditures of the big packet. If that all makes sense.
Just start talking or you can ask questions.
Why don't you just go for it, Karen?
Okay, yeah, I can go down through each item if you like, basically. I'll just start on, sorry, these aren't labeled, we'll start with 110, salary and wages. Salary and wages for 2 full-time, 2 part-time employees. Thank you. I can go up here. Sorry, you
You
guys.
just pull up a chair here if you want.
Great. Okay. Okay, so salary and wages, 2 full-time, 2 part-time employees, an intern, which we usually hire a high school student in the summer, and some substitute time. Compensated absence, employer contribution, office supplies. I've listed out everything that we spend money on for office supplies. I think I put it increased about 25% since last year on those items. Small items of equipment, I just put it in an inkjet printer. Our larger printer we lease, and the Friends of the Library pick up that tab. Publication for a formal.
Question.
Yes.
How much is your printer of Doom lease?
I don't know. I have to look.
That's just a question because we went through like repricing the lease for the one here.
It's currently
The printer.
it's currently Fisher's, but I can get you those numbers.
It's just a curiosity because
Okay.
we went through and repriced out leasing. We'll go through it in ours to try and find a better lease deal on it. So.
I'll be doing the same thing this year. Ours is up this year.
Okay.
We went down. Depending on the amount of copies, I mean, because we have had an immense amount of copying this year. We should go down about 120 a month. It's the new
Lease. So when you start to price it out, I know Ginger had several different companies, so maybe touch base with her.
We went through Fisher.
You did?
Yeah,
So
we
Fisher
went
was
through
the,
Fisher 'cause they-
Okay.
not
I'll still compare prices.
DeLogan is our current
if
one.
they're treating us well.
Okay.
That's funny. Okay, small items of equipment. Our inkjet printer is about at the end of its life.
Question for you.
Yes.
So under office supplies, you have HP ink.
Yes.
How's that different from inkjet printer?
It's not. I just put the ink under office supplies and ink I should have removed, and $1,000 will cover the printer.
Okay.
Thank you. Publications, ads or help wanteds, things like that. So telephone and internet is up over last year. I usually apply for an E-rate grant. This year I did not. The E-rate program can save us up to 40%. However, this year the rules attached to that grant, the hours it would cost me to record and track that grant were more than the grant itself. So I didn't apply for it after doing the math. So telephone and internet went up. Professional services, Montana Shared Catalog, data service and support. We enter a consortium with libraries across the state in Montana, and we all pay into the Montana Shared Catalog to help us with our records, training, data storage, ebook selection, and there's a lot more, which I'm blanking out on right now. If you're interested, I can give you a copy of the full Montana Shared Catalog duty record. OCLC is, so we lend books and get books in Madison County from all over the country. OCLC Finder helps us import our records to keep track of that book and find those books all over the country for people. World Book is used by students and mostly homeschool students. It's just an online encyclopedia, as well as Tumble Books. It's a toddler, early school age resource for literacy. And then Overdrive are our and audiobook leases. Every time someone rents from Libby, not rents, checks out from Libby, we get charged per item. And again, we do enter in consortium with the rest of the state to bring those costs down.
Can
Any
I
questions so
interject
far?
for half a second?
Yes.
Because this was the one we were working on from last Friday, this worksheet. The one that.
Oh, shoot.
So,
Sorry.
you're good. So there's gonna be some changes.
Oh,
And
geez.
I'll just point them out as we hit them.
Yep. Thank you.
Because we found some areas to fix last Friday. So we went down actually to 300 in publications because we used so little in the time before. So we went from 500 to 300 there. Our telephone and internet is the same. The professional services, the 350 is the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference in the employer contributions.
Correct.
Sorry, guys. That's my fault.
I was just, where is that? Employer contributions to make all of this work. So there's actually
It's less.
in our actual form here. It's at 12,447 when we did the calculations.
Yes.
All right, and then we're good to training services is the same,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Yep.
And then in purchase services, the amount for Black Mountain went down when we calculated it out. So the total is actually 9,986. That's where we found the
Yes.
difference there.
And
So what was the difference? I'm sorry.
The Black Mountain amount
Uh-huh.
wasn't 1250. It's
8 something.
yeah.
And
So
the
that
big,
was the difference.
the large increase there is I'm adding IT for the library. I've done it so far all of these years. And just as part of my job at the library, that portion of the job is growing and I don't want to do it. I think my job is to administer the library and not do IT. And so I got several quotes. The lowest was from DIS Technologies, and it's for $800 a month. And they were great. They worked with me and our needs and actually lowered the price by $500 a month after we talked about exactly what we need. So I'm happy with that price, but that is a significant purchase, but I think it's well worth it. As for my time and our patron security. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions so far before we?
So John doesn't do any of your IT, Karen?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna turn,
Where are we?
no, I'm gonna actually look under, so yeah, library facilities. The breakdown is on the back of that page, but I'm gonna look at both of these because it breaks down a couple of things at the end. So repair and maintenance items, that's the amount that we spend just on those things. Toilet paper, hand towels, soap, paper towels, can liners, just for cleaning the library and mostly the bathrooms. So those CIP amounts are in this budget, but not under that line item. You'll see them down there toward the end in your actual Black Mountain version.
So, and if you look at 230 on ours, you'll see it as 3,000. That's because part of that too is we had the parking lot gravel in 230 and 360. We removed it from both sections and then moved that into street maintenance repair. It's like that's one of the town parking lots, not necessarily just the library parking lot. Like it's supposed to be the overflow from, Main Street's full. So that's where it got moved. So those items, actually, the parking lot gravel aren't in the library's budget. It was moved to a different section. Does that make sense?
It was in 3 different sections, you broke it up.
So when we first looked at this, that's when we noticed it was in 2 places.
Mhm.
And then that's when I said, I'm going to move it into, I guess we could split it between a library facility and do a section there and then a part in streets, but really he's going to get the gravel and he's going to get.
It was in 2 places because I didn't know where to put it. I just didn't know where it went.
So that's actually not in the budget over here.
Do you know how many parking spots are identified back there?
Well, there's probably a difference between what amount there could be and what there are, if that makes sense. There's there's 2 sides of parking spaces, but half of one side is permanently occupied, and then the other side is probably 1, 2, 3, probably 5 spaces. But what could fit in there, I don't know. We'd have to go line it out.
And then there's the handicap. There's just the
There's
one,
one handicap spot.
which also leads to another item. somewhere. We'll get to that.
Sorry, I can't answer your question. We have to go out and, between how people park and how many are available. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's also going to be your earlier plan that you had about expanding a meeting room off the backside of the library.
Yeah.
Do you have an inkling about how many feet you were thinking about?
I don't have any inkling. That's where the planner comes in. That's whether you go up or out or, I don't know. That's beyond me. So sorry, I can't give you an idea. Everything we've done to the north side has been temporary, either if it needs to be removed because there's cable buried or parking changes. Yeah, everything we've put back there is very temporary.
Okay. So the 230, that's why from here it went from 550 to on our actual budget sheet down to 3,000. And then electric stayed the same, but then repairs and maintenance.
Probably the easiest thing would be actually to look at the numbers, but just look at the list to see what's involved.
Well, and then, so if you look at 360 repair and maintenance, when we had Karen's original, we still had a working HVAC system that didn't need repaired.
So there's an extra $4,000 in there that
was split.
was just
between
repaired. That's in this line item. So under repair, I'm sorry, Craig. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm trying to go back and forth between the large spreadsheet versus this, because there's differences, right?
Okay.
Like this guy, I don't know, 360, for example. It's saying, going forward for the next budget, it's 12.5.
Correct. So
And then these two, how do I interpret?
I was just
each one of these columns?
I was just doing that myself today to make sure everything added up. And so I apologize. I brought you the old worksheet. My fault.
Okay, so this is
This is correct.
Correct,
These
okay.
numbers are correct. And I can tell you,
this
Yeah.
is the final answer.
this is the final answer.
Okay.
If you're wondering about 360 repair and maintenance services, I have items in there for a carpet cleaning once a year, electric or plumbing or heating. Sometimes we use it, sometimes we don't.
And we knew this year we were gonna use it, so we actually kind of we took the 2,500 that she already had and increased it because we knew that she already had an estimate for the repairs
For the furnace.
for the furnace.
Okay.
Okay, so just so I'm looking at this, Karen, sorry to,
No
so this carpet cleaning, this is 1,500,
Correct.
plumbing, heating, 25.
Correct.
So is this there's two different columns.
So
Which is the column on the left, like the detail, and the column on the
Yeah,
right
this
is
was-
like a sum?
yeah, this was
grand total.
originally intended for Ginger, and this was before the mayor and I sat down together. So the grand total column, these numbers have been shifted since Nikki and I talked.
Okay.
Okay. And probably some additions. So services, and I put 24 projects included. That was for Ginger's notation. So the fire system monitoring, it will be $600 a year. And so what's not in this column is a $4,000 bill for furnace repair that just happened last week. And yeah, the 25,000 for planning and CIP. I think Nikki put in 4,500 for CIP down here. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay. Insurance special assessments. So machinery and equipment are two things. The fire panel, hopefully they'll get to it this month. So that's a rollover from last year. And I tacked on a couple extra $100 because gas prices have increased. They charge us mileage to come down. And I also would like to put 1 or 2 lights out in the north parking lot. And when we talked about it last year, I was overthinking it a lot. We were thinking about electric parking lights, but it turns out we can put either 1 or 2 solar lamps in that north parking lot, and primarily for the winter months. All the leaves will be off the trees. It'll receive the solar, and that's when we need it. Okay. So I'm looking at the Black Mountain sheet. Okay. So the interfund transfers out 2,500, looking ahead 3 to 4 years for new computers. Flooring, I'm looking ahead 2 to 3 years to replace our carpet that's in there. And I'm looking ahead 2 to 3 years to replace our roof shingles. We've been lucky. We've only had 1 leak so far. I think Larry Pine just put a bunch of black goop on it and called it good, but so far so good.
3,500 seems light.
So it would be 3,500 this year. I'll stick another 3,500 next year. So
Okay.
Yeah.
That's at least planning for building repairs.
Yeah. And then the library meeting room, we just put that for expansion CIP. And that was the number that the mayor came up with just as a starting place.
So that sometimes like the HB 819 that we got, the growth policy, that grant came available, and we had in our professional services or other purchase services the grant amount available. So should something come up, at least we have something set in capital improvement. If there's a grant that comes up, we have that set aside for that specific reason. So if there's a grant that comes up, she's at least got matching funds, and if it doesn't, at least we're building towards.
Do you think you can go 3 years on that roof?
I hope so.
Well, it's only, how old is it?
09. A new roof in 09.
Right, roofs are typically 25 years,
Mm-hmm.
unless you've had
19,
insurance claim on it.
Yeah. Should,
I don't know. It's a bet, isn't it? It's
Explain
a
that to me. Say that again.
What roof is it?
So they,
shingle.
Composition.
part of the roof,
Takes
actually,
25
they
years.
determine how much of the life has been removed by hail. And then your roof only has said number of years left. according to the insurance company,
If you have a claim.
if you have a claim on it. If you haven't had any damage to the roof, then the shingles are warranted to 25 years.
Yeah, there's just damage in that one spot. I don't know. I'm open to recommendations in this area. This is
I
not my
asked her to put
forte.
it in because
Yeah, if you guys think that it
There's
needs to be more open and
stuff that
more.
doesn't handle water that well in that building.
But I also know that we have, if something happens, the library does have the trust fund account with $20,000. I've earmarked that for a furnace, but if a roof come first, I know
So-
it's there.
If the roof blows off tomorrow, we can get it fixed.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. But I hope it doesn't blow
No,
off
I'm not-
tomorrow. Just kidding. Just kidding.
And that's the whole goal of,
Just in case, and we budgeted their trust money
Mhm.
to be spent if it has to be. Fortunately, never had to do that.
Yeah. Questions? So Corey, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you were saying about a 25-year life of a roof.
So depending on the type of roof that gets installed, they have a certain life expectancy.
Mhm.
So I think your shingles that are on there are 25-year shingle. You can put a 50-year shingle that's going to be a quarter-inch thick,
Mm.
and it has a longer life expectancy. So yes, ultimately, depending on the type of roof, if you have an insurance claim, it might, the south-facing side might receive more weather and have a shortened life expectancy, especially if you have hail or something like that.
I see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and I asked Karen about like, in that, if there was anything in the special collection and like how other libraries protect that. And basically, she's looked at that and the cases that they have special for special collection are more expensive than special collection that we have. So does that make sense? So there's books that are high value or whatever, but the fancy cases that protect them from water damage and everything else are actually more expensive than our collection would be to replace. So we didn't even go there.
So you're saying we don't have a very good collection?
We have a great collection. It's just not irreplaceable.
Okay.
Perfectly worded.
And to protect paper from water and smoke and everything, those cases are exceptionally expensive. So. Questions there. Does it make sense between the two? Or- And where we were kind of looking at for a long-term plan?
So that's this actually, I think this is correct. One of these. Yeah, our CIP plan by fiscal year 25, 26, 27. That's the majority of our major expenses. I know things always come up between here and there, but this is what the board and I put together.
So, real talk here. You're talking about expanding, planning architectural rendering because of the lack of meeting and program space.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see that expansion the next couple of years.
No. So after I called two firms, I called SMA and 45 Architecture and just talked about from just beginning to start to think about something and then actually put something in place. They said it's anywhere from 1 to 5 years, depending on what you want. So even if we get something in place in the next year, not knowing what that is, I didn't feel okay about putting it in here.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to put I wouldn't even know how much it costs. Yeah,
Sure.
without some more information.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I just saw the planning, but I didn't see
Yeah,
the result of said planning.
yeah. It's the start, like even before the start, whatever that
And
is.
should we expand before we put a new roof on?
That is a good question. See, that's what we don't
I
know.
would think so.
Yeah.
Or have a weird seam and not put stuff right there.
Yeah.
The addition leaks.
Yeah. Yeah, would you feel better if that money were reworded
No,
or
I think you've done a great job here explaining, the cash reserves that you have and where they're going and why you're hoarding cash isn't the right word.
No.
But maintaining a rainy day fund,
Mhm.
that might be the right word.
Mhm.
So I think you've done a great job explaining.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. Great point. And part of those, if you're wondering why, how that fund grew so much last year, so half of, let's take the $40,000 chunk, half of that was budgeted for the panel, the fire panel. And the other half it was a project, the plumbing project came in a little bit under budget. And we had an employee that worked 3 months of her year, so that was a surprise as well. Yeah.
Ginger actually explained to me the other day, each one of our departments, you can have, like, there's a state's,
50%
of,
your appropriations,
okay, can be in your savings.
yes.
Is that what it is for towns?
Yeah,
50%?
50 max.
Well, that's not good. You let us have 100% of it.
That's when you roll it into CIP.
Really?
100% of a pro, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting thing to look at, because of course we all should have money in our savings, for rainy day fund or thing, whatever you want to call it.
And those are tax-based funds. It doesn't apply to our enterprise funds like water and sewer.
All right. Anything you see that we missed or needed? I think Karen was exceptionally thorough in all of it.
I just have a follow-up question. You didn't have any, on your compensated absence, you didn't have any excessive vacation leave in there, right?
I probably did, and I'm using it in September.
Yeah.
I'm bringing it back down to where it should be.
So, and I did take that amount off of their compensated absence from year end. When Karen said I'm gonna take this many hours in September, so I did reduce.
This doesn't reflect what
their
you're
year-end
taking.
number.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I guess one last thing, Karen, I'd be curious to see what what is that other plan, not the growth plan, but
Strategic?
no.
Just kidding. Capital improvement?
Master?
The master plan.
Okay,
Thank
I
you.
was like, where are we going here? There's got to be another plan.
Just curious to see what the master plan had drawn up. I vaguely remember how they laid out some parking spots
I'd be curious too.
in behind the library just for, why not?
Yeah.
It's an idea. If
Um,
nothing else.
That's a
Why not?
great
Yeah,
idea. Actually, I didn't remember
I just
that
got
that
done reading
happened.
it, but I don't remember.
I thought it was other parking. I
Huh.
don't remember where it was at.
I'll go back and take a look. Yeah. I think it's great to organize parking. It just makes it nicer.
Well, if Jan Gennaro would have followed through with a lot of his plans for the north side of town, there might be more of a demand for parking on that side of town.
And any thoughts about paving that lot back there sometime?
I don't know. I hadn't even thought about paving the lot back there, depending on, I don't know. I'd have to figure out the pros and cons of paving it. I am in favor of gravel just because I think it melts the ice faster. It just becomes a mud bog back there for our older folks that come in. It's nice to have a nice surface for them to walk on. As far as paving it, I have no idea. Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to that, I'm more of a passive surface type of guy, especially since we don't have a stormwater management system in town. More we can let filter through.
So out of a curiosity, you want it like an estimate for like a long-term look at it, or
I don't know. I mean, it's just something I thought about.
it's the only thing I guess I see as a benefit is you can paint lines.
That's what made me go there was,
That's
well,
not where you're going with that.
Yeah.
So that you can
Yeah.
say that's how many parking spots we have and optimize the parking.
When you look at the
Based on
master
layout.
plan, it's all drawn up like Sim City, all looks
Is it pretty?
very urban.
I don't think there's.
I
anything
thought
wrong.
there was, isn't it reverse parking, if I remember right?
There's nothing wrong.
On Main Street. Reverse angle parking.
Is that South 3rd Street that goes back there?
Williams and 3rd,
3rd
right?
Street. I don't think I'm seeing any
Yeah,
parking.
the only reverse parking that was drawn in is West Main Street, out in front of Shedhorn.
I thought there was some other pocket in there, but maybe not. Or I was like, ooh, driver's, that'll be
Do you have
fun.
any questions, Craig?
No, good. It's very good. Thank you.
Nikki? Questions? Corey?
I think you've done a good job here.
I will keep you posted as far as the planning and the fire panels, all the projects, for sure. Okay.
They said, ask this, what's damage from winter heaving? Is that on the,
Oh, it does say.
is that the sidewalk or?
Carpet. That's why,
Oh, the carpet.
yeah, every winter it heaves in the library and I go down and I've, glued it and gorilla taped it, but there's more parts that are heaving. It really, I don't know, it changed after the building next to us was built. It was only one part that heaved and now there are several parts that heave. And so I don't know what exactly we're going to do about it, but those carpet squares that were put in kind of poke up and trip people. And then because they poke up, they unravel. They're unraveling at the sides and
Is there a crawl space down there?
yeah,
Is it
Is it
wet?
moving?
depends, I think.
It's generally, I mean, I didn't know there was heating going on. We should probably climb back. But I don't, when I go down there, I don't go all the way back
Yeah.
to that side. It kind of splits. But I mean, I didn't know that was
Splits
going
on
Maybe
what
we should
side?
have a look at it.
Like closest to the new building?
Was that?
So did it change basically like the frost level and drive it? I don't know. That's interesting.
But every time I've looked, it's been dry down there.
I don't go
But
over to the
again,
other
we don't
side.
got
I only
the
go
other
to the
end,
working
you know,
part. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know.
Went in the dark.
Is there plastic under there though?
I don't think there's a vapor barrier down there. That's probably a good start. That's probably a good thought.
Yeah, maybe look at that for,
I found it too. It says there's 11 spaces in the library.
Oh,
On the master
2,
plan?
3, 6, 7, 8, 9,
11.
10, maybe.
Nuggets.
I have to look at it.
Some parking enforcement though.
Yeah.
What do you mean wells in there?
There's two wells right in the middle
Of the parking lot?
of.
But I don't,
Oh, is something buried?
yeah, but I think it's not a parking spot. There's posts there, right? Yeah. So no one can park there. Okay. Yeah, I'm here through Friday. If you have any questions,
Who's in
please.
charge when you're gone?
Bailey. You can tell her I said so.
Thank you. So you guys are good with why it's like 284, 791 here. So I basically dropped out the main chunk of the capital improvement of the full 25 and start planning on it in this section. Okay. All right, Eric. So your sections to the table. I'm gonna steal the microphone again. I just want to get up and move.
What page are we on?
Oh. We are.
Starts at the very bottom of 2, facilities.
Yes.
Ready? So the only thing really that went up is the compensated absence and employer contributions. They added in new tables and chairs for in here.
I think I took those out.
That came out.
I got rid of those.
But that has nothing to do with compensated absence and employer contributions. So
No.
where's that coming from?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Why was that? It's like I guess there never previously was compensated absences for that department.
We didn't break it down between all of the different sections.
Facets.
Yes.
Okay. Employer contributions. What's that jump? From hiring 2 new people?
Employer contribution, that's payroll taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you still have the same amount of people, right?
So in the previous, we did the change from, what was that, 19, and you had, and you got your raise once you got your water, and then you got your raise once you got your sewer. We started at a higher rate. And that's the difference.
Right off the bat, so you're at 22 with $1 raise, ending being the same.
So say that, I didn't understand what you just, I'm sorry.
Okay, so the year prior, I think, the starting wage was 19, correct?
I think we did this resolution last year.
Right.
So wouldn't that be reflected in here?
That was for new hires though, so I don't think it was calculated in. Am I right? And then so it reflects the higher starting wage in hopes of, again, having those positions filled.
So you bumped up the starting wage and they get more when they get certificates for water and sewer or their schooling or what?
Yeah.
It goes up. It used to be
It was
3 steps or starting and then 2 steps. Well, it still does, but
the raises for each test are less. The ending wage stayed the same
Okay.
for Public Works.
Mhm.
I just raised the starting wage.
Start. okay,
Right.
The base rate.
It was like $2 or $3 a test raise we were
Mhm.
getting. Now it's $1.
Okay. All right. I understand that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does any of that, the new guy that you hired does he have all of his certifications?
He does. We are currently in the process of
Transfer.
transferring them from Colorado, which is just great, you know. Hopefully that works out. I'm pretty excited about it. But no equipment, no chairs.
So the repair and maintenance there, we actually divided that. So originally we'd actually priced out new chairs. I'm sorry, we did not put new chairs in the budget. But we think we might have a line on some. Yeah, because Karen's got some extras down at the library and there's some others that.
You should let me look at the auction place in Helena.
So we took those
They
out
price
and
nice.
then divided, the repair and maintenance. That 6,000 is actually divided, between facilities, water, sewer, and where's the other one, Ginger? And part of,
For chairs?
no, sorry. The parking lot out here.
Oh, that's
Okay.
So we
on.
cut the chairs so that we could put that portion of facilities combined with other departments all the way around to redo the parking lot up front.
Saving it all?
Yeah. And
Okay.
saying, we can probably manage some chairs and tables and everything. I just want to get rid of the ones that are actually cracked. We need to throw them out.
So what are you, you're just resurfacing the parking lot?
Is that a current one?
This is the revenue. This is the expenditure.
Can I get a current one?
The expenditure one? Go for it.
So I know what's going on.
Real quick, because that's about dead.
I think you're on page 3. I think.
All right. I'll share it with you.
No, I got more. Or you can have this, because this one I already wrote on. So,
All right.
Pleasure.
So, but back to that $6,000, that's just for resurfacing the parking lot,
Oh,
What's line 390?
230.
230, yeah.
No, that's repair and maintenance supplies.
for
oh,
this building.
Servicing is
Oh.
under three.
We're,
390.
yeah, we haven't even got to that yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
I thought we broke it down though. Maybe not.
Is the breakdown of where the wages come from for each person in this department, is that on the drive, Ginger? The breakdown of the wages from each person in his department? So that's not on the drive? So where can we find that?
To do a slip for it and put it on.
Okay.
The commission got it.
That's the thing you sent us last week, right?
Yes.
Or whatever.
Just the handwritten.
Yeah.
Yes. That was your breakdown.
Okay, so,
Give it to him.
all right,
Hear me keep going?
yeah, utilities are the same.
Okay, electric and utilities is the same. The same for gas. Repairs and maintenance services, that's also the same. The one under that is the parking lot, 25,000.
And so is that resurface or is
That's- No, that's
gonna
getting
tear
rid
it
of
up
all
and-
that blacktop and
Also starting from scratch, basically.
Well, half the parking lot is already cemented.
Mhm.
This is just extending that out to the sidewalk, so it'll all be,
So is this 25K is it for concrete or?
Yeah.
asphalt?
it's already done in concrete, so, yeah. And that's half of what I actually would like to finish out there, but that's just half. For little bits at a time.
So I'm just gonna throw out in the capacity as the tree board. So if we were to, I can't exactly picture the parking lot right now, but is there some way we could do water lines out there to put it prior to pouring concrete to possibly put some trees in out there? Or I mean, it's just, I'm strictly throwing it out.
Honestly, we have water in the back is where it'd have to come from, so we'd have
None
to
of
go.
these trees are connected to water?
No, these are hand watered.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'd have to go underneath everything.
And this is the concrete right here.
Right.
Actually,
This is where it started.
Okay.
There's already 2 sections they did in sections. This is just kind of carrying on from there.
There's no hose bib out front or water out front of the building.
The closest is to
I
go
mean,
from the ambulance
We
bay.
can hand water from
There's a
our,
bib in the bay and then go out.
I mean, but I really think with the ambulance and vehicles parking right there, taking away the room would probably create more of a
It just,
congestion as it is.
sure.
I mean-
I was just throwing like a boulevard tree, an area where they. nobody
Yeah, I think it'd
utilizes.
really take away from the room. Plus,
Take away from the what, the view?
room
Oh,
for actual parking to go on. We got the 2 handicap spots and
Makes sense.
and what's a 1487 miscellaneous?
other purchase services. That's miscellaneous, yeah. If we have to call an electrician in, anything like that, we can use that line.
Is it lit out there at all right now?
But that's for the whole thing, right?
What's that?
The 487, right?
The 26,000 is for the concrete, right?
So yes, 25,000 for that. There's little notes underneath, 25,000 for the parking lot
Mm-hmm.
and 1,487 is in miscellaneous.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
What's the same on other purchase services too? That's why I got confused.
Okay.
Do we have any drainage issues out front? I'm just asking questions. 'Cause-
Only right at the corner, but I can generally put gravel back in there is what happens. The road mix gets taken out, but only right there because it comes to like a V right out here. So yeah, and it's
Sure.
lower than the road, so it's gonna be a puddle there.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just curious if it warranted putting in one of those, like a cistern that they have, out in the North 40, all of those water.
Retention
Storage,
ponds.
retention, thank you, yeah.
And then another thing to remember about that is some of that's we would have to get permits for because
DEQ,
from
Or
the
from
state, because that's the state highway
yeah.
and they're right away. So if, this is barring, they're okay with doing that there.
And who, just out of curiosity, owns all the lots back in that direction west? Where all those pools of water go, that's not town
Where,
property, just straight west of us, straight west of town hall.
Still in the parking lot?
I mean, in front of the bays or further?
oh, in front of the road?
Yeah,
That is her property, yes.
at Elaine.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd see like we took care of the puddles in front of ours this spring and yeah, I think the state actually came down and ran down that the other day.
She doesn't own that though, does she?
No, that's
She-
Wilkinson's.
Yeah,
And
she
well,
just rents it from them, paid for the connection and yeah.
those are
So there is like lights out here, like,
on the building,
what am I
yeah.
trying to, but not like a street light.
We have them on the buildings.
What you thinking?
If there's a sidewalk, they might should have a street light. I don't know. Maybe not, I don't know.
I mean, they're pretty, like, streetlights are pretty, again, they can go solar with them. It's pretty handy,
Yeah,
you know?
Could do a streetlight maintenance district.
that would be nice because we are severely
Up there on
lacking
the
on,
hill.
yeah,
Sorely lacking.
yeah.
like it. Wacky.
Do you? I mean, I've stumbled home a couple nights and it's a tough.
So,
No, keep your freaking
So-
mouth shut.
so we don't own the streetlights. That's Northwest Energy.
That's what I thought.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
So-
We
And
don't
so
own
we
them.
don't pay for the power either. And I like that because I think our power bill is high enough.
Oh,
We pay,
Yeah.
pay for the streetlights.
But I thought we paid for,
No, we pay power on the streetlights.
Throughout town, through Lower Ennis, all the streetlights that are down there,
Yes.
the town's
Holy
paying
cow.
power on them.
Yes.
that,
So I-
well, the lagoon. I thought the lagoon one was extra.
The
It's
lagoon's
expensive.
lit up pretty well.
Is it the lights? But that's not, we should look at that in claims because I think it's.
Eric's next road and street maintenance. And our electric and utility services are the streetlights. We budget 7,000 this year for them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was 8.
I thought.
But
that-
Northwestern Energy owns the lights.
Correct.
Because the one outside my house, they replaced here last year or whatever
Yeah.
it was. and They were there replacing that.
Yeah, they do the repair and maintenance on them when they can get here.
Did they,
But no, the town does pay the power.
did they change like the design of it?
A little bit. I mean, the one that was there was like,
Old.
yeah, 1930s era.
They're LED now.
Yeah, they're LED
Down
now.
point.
So you don't get as many bugs and now I don't have bats.
No.
When they changed ours, it like, there's not been bats since they changed it.
Guess I didn't notice that, but
Alright. Then we
Is
go,
the insurance, is that the total that you put up under general liability of the property? To equal the total of the budget?
yes,
Okay, so it's just off by like $18.
Oh, yeah.
transposed
I
them.
noticed that. I just highlighted it, but I transposed the 24.
Okay, so there's not an additional $18 fee for something?
Well, I have to look and see which one is correct. I don't know which one I transposed.
Gotcha.
I would assume that we.
Are you
Okay.
moving on to road and streets?
yes, please.
Yes. So that's page 4.
All right. Again, salary and wages has gone up. I mean,
That just seems like a big number for 2 employees.
No, we always calculate it.
we always budget for three
Three?
plus me.
Yeah.
That's,
and
in a perfect world, that's where we would be.
you're always on the lookout hiring, I mean.
Yeah.
If the right guy walks through, you hire him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in the past, we took what we could you know, but I mean, I think it's getting a little better for public works people, find employees. Seems to be.
And compensated absence is,
Yeah, that's up quite a bit.
yeah.
And I may be able to adjust that. Well, I can't because it's off of last year's. Again, yeah, I have to take the year-end figures
Yeah,
in June is what, but Kyle has left, so that number
then,
has gone down.
then why did it go up so high last year?
What do you mean, why did it go up?
Well, I mean, well, right now, if I'm reading this correctly,
Double.
it doubled.
I have to go back and look, John, at
Uh-huh.
each of their.
Triple.
Yeah, almost
their
tripled.
items. What's that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I certainly can double check it.
yeah, I just was wondering
Yeah.
why.
On that thought process,
Eric needs a vacation.
Eric, did you violate the excessive vacation
Yes, many times.
for just you or employees too?
Me.
Okay.
I honestly would love to have
A vacation.
the time. So take that however you want,
I'm just,
There's
I-
some time-
I'm
I
just
mean-
noting this. It's just for me.
you know.
I get it. Not enough hours in the day to do your job, period.
I mean,
Will he lose it or it just keeps rolling over or?
I think it's supposed
To
to
a
be
point,
use it or
I-
lose it, but it
I did
rolls
just
over.
take 2 days off last week.
Oh, no.
That was, the last 2 times before that, I took time off and got called back from out of town to come here. Twice in a row.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I wish it wasn't that way.
About the new guy, is he gonna be the solution?
Hopefully. I mean,
If he's got certification, that's pretty awesome. Seems pretty awesome.
you know, Alex is going through the school. I mean, he came with a lot of experience, I'll say that. So he's definitely going to help. There's no way it can.
But technically, how do we need to address that again if it's, because it is a use it or lose it, should be a use it or lose it scenario, but it rolls over, right?
Yeah, and that's something, I mean, I'm happy to map that out for you guys. And I don't know that budget is the time to do it, but
Let's pull it.
Right, but if we're getting written up on our audit, we probably should have something in place. Or look at putting something in
Yeah.
place, yeah.
So again, does it cap? Does he
I was
lose
gonna
it?
say, does it roll over to a
Does it
point?
roll over and then it caps? I mean, it seems like he's on the crap end of the stick in regards to that. So
Mhm.
with,
I mean, my vacation right now isn't maxed out. I mean, I hit days here and there. I'm not maxed out on vacation time.
I don't
mean,
know how to answer.
I
your
took
question.
some time off when I broke my foot. I
Mhm.
took a week off then. You know,
Was that work comp too, though?
Yeah, that would be working.
Right.
As soon
So
as
it wouldn't it be
he
your,
actually didn't stay off enough days.
I didn't stay off enough days to get workman's comp,
oh,
and they would have paid me a third of what I would have made, so I just took the vacation time because it was there.
but
so
did they
no
pay for your
work
surgery?
comp-
Right, did they
no
pay
work
for your
comp
surgery then?
Yes.
Eric, did they pay for your surgery then?
I'm pretty sure you either have to follow work comp or you just can't pick and choose what parts of it you use when you file a claim.
Ultimately, you.
I don't have to
encourage-
file a claim
you encourage your employee to come back to work. It's
I
quickly.
mean, if you want me to stay home, I will.
No,
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 we're
that's,
just trying to ask.
I mean, I don't get it.
We don't either. That's why we're asking. It's
I don't
nothing
know
personal,
why.
honest to God. It's not. We just don't get it
I'm
either.
getting,
Let's move on.
Yeah, I guess my question would be, do they have, like in the military, you can actually sell your days back? Can that be written into the town code, I guess would be the question.
when I was talking to the lady about how long it would take for workman's comp to kick in and this and that, nothing was said that I had to do that. And I told her, well, I'm just going to take my vacation days because they're there.
Then you get full pay if you're on vacation, yeah.
And
Which makes sense, but the fact that they paid for your surgery is weird to me. I don't
But
know.
you encourage, the sooner that employee comes back to work, the
I-
lower your rates are. gonna
so
stay.
I came back to work in the office. I mean,
Oh, right, because you weren't walking
Yeah.
on it as much.
There's incentive. for them to
Right.
Come back to work.
Like MMIA says, return to light duty, trying to keep it below 10 days. That's
Yeah.
kind of MMIA's.
The longer that employee
Take
stays
on it.
off of work, the worse it's a.
I honestly thought I was helping out. So
No, it
If
sounds
it
like you
ain't
were.
that
I
way.
just didn't know
We're
that.
just
if
trying
it
to
ain't
figure it
that
out.
way, you know,
Yeah, I didn't
I'll
know.
just start being that guy.
I'm sorry if I made it, I was just asking. I didn't mean to make it personal, so.
No.
Sorry.
No, I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean.
We're just trying to figure this out.
What's next? Where we leave off?
We're road and maintenance number 230.
Last year was high, now it's back down.
Right. Didn't get used too much, so I dropped that down.
15,000, that's 38.
Did anything get paved this year? Any, like a street?
We did some corners and a lot of potholes, road cuts. We did a lot of that this year.
But you didn't pave a dirt road in town?
No, we did a lot of dirt work.
Okay.
Hugo, down by my street, which is freaking great now.
So are you gonna continue to pave roads or is it in the budget for next year to
Not with this
continue?
maintenance
Okay.
part. In road and streets later on.
That's where we are, road and street maintenance, right?
This is general fund. He's
This is
also
general
got gas
fund?
tax and
Okay.
the street maintenance assessment fund.
Yeah.
that-
Oh.
that are both-
So the
Oh,
the
okay.
paving of the roads and whatnot's not done on general
General.
fund. That's done on
Out of the district.
out of the district.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Thanks.
So that one did go down. Oil and gas, same things. Same for signs. This has been actually really helpful. The sign budget.
We added that last year.
Did you
We
get everything in North 40 taken care of?
That's on them.
Oh,
They were supposed to have that in. So I think Susie's working on that, right?
taken care of? Okay.
Yes, so Susie's got the full list of where the street signs are. They, like, some of them are up finally, like Bujo, and
Somewhere.
I think all of those are up. Now we have to just go through whether it's supposed to be a lane or an avenue. There's some corrections to be made there. And then some of the no parking signs that we gotta get straightened out. This is more like,
And
actually
then if
having
somebody knocks it over, turns it down. Signposts are breakaway now by law, so they're crazy expensive.
what's a singular signpost right now?
With the post, it's over $200. with the base.
Hmm.
And then getting it trucked here is as much as buying them. Electric is the same.
That's where it is.
What's that?
That's your streetlights.
That's the
Streetlights,
street
the
light.
same.
That's a street light.
Motor vehicle repair is the same.
It is? Yeah, I guess it is. What,
Mhm.
He's budgeting the same.
Yes.
The budgeting the same.
is that just general motor vehicle repair?
Right.
Or is-
Right.
okay.
That's things, everything related in the road maintenance. So the new grader, once we start using it, the snow plow, a certain percentage of like the runaround are like the four, three.
Water, sewer, and
No, I mean, how many? The 14. There's 4 trucks.
the 4 trucks. Yes.
Four regular half-ton trucks. A little bit of the 4-wheeler for doing the sidewalks. That's not actually like this. Oh no,
Okay.
sidewalks. That's just repairs. So a little bit of the vehicle maintenance is there too for the. We divvy it up.
On the signs, if somebody runs into the sign, tears it down, does the town get to get reimbursement from their insurance company?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that like a process?
If you catch them.
It is.
If you catch them, and
If you catch them.
I don't know if the town comes out ahead when you actually like play into like court and prosecution when they fight the fact that they ran over the sign.
If they're not, you don't generally catch them. They're generally, if you hear about it, it's them calling. It's never, oh, we caught this
Just like
guy.
the one
doing
down
it.
in the Plain James parking lot, you got that.
That's state
You-
sign.
Oh, so you didn't replace
That's
that?
not our sign. That's the
But
state.
the lady that hit it,
Back up for you.
but the lady that hit it did call and report it herself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What does other purchase services entail for this department?
Just anything we would not need help for. Again, mechanics, anything like that.
Electricians.
Electrician.
And then there's a little bit of the breakdown of Black Mountain in there as well, right? Or maybe
Not on this one.
not in that one. Okay.
So are we good with that one? I'm just marking it for all here.
Double check your numbers.
Insurance dropped pretty good on that one too.
Okay. Sidewalks.
Sidewalks, everything in the sidewalks is the same. Went up 200. We just switched around 200 is all. So everything there is the same. That was nice. Being able to pay for this fix in front of the park. At some point, that's going to be more prevalent with us because the ADA stuff is changing. So
What park? In front of what park?
the
Is it
Downtown
in front of
park.
Granny
Grandma
Ennis's?
Oh, okay.
grandma,
Because we had the
plastic ADA,
bumpy part.
Yeah.
So
those were tearing up,
Oh.
so we had to replace that. No,
they were not compliant anymore. They were deemed a safety hazard by the state. And
they're supposed to be cast iron now, not plastic. But
They were just put in just a few years ago, wasn't it?
So I think that's why they changed it to the cast iron, because I think I noticed like everywhere when I started paying attention, everywhere that had the plastic ones, it's like the moisture gets underneath and bubbles up. And since those were specifically for those that have a hard time seeing, having the curled up edges on the bumpy part, extra hazard. So I think that's why they changed the standard. I'm not sure, but everywhere I saw the plastic ones, they were peeled up.
I think I got 30 feet for $1,600 with plates, you know. And then the rest went to Chief Roy from replacing it.
There are weeds.
Weeds, next page.
Weeds. Oh, this is kind of thorn in my side, but it's all the same. I'm going to have to go and bite the bullet and take the test because that's why it ain't getting done now. We were deemed a liability. We were spraying under the county's license.
So will it
So the
just,
test is a sprayers or whatever. That
Yeah. You know,
it's not worth like putting in other purchase service in this department and paying somebody to do it?
They're fairly pricey.
Okay.
I mean, I could just, I don't know what it cost would be to honestly spray the whole town. And, you know,
And so is it just you getting certified or?
yeah,
you and
it would be
others?
one of us. We'll have to get certified and then we could work under their license, you know.
Okay.
It's not a commercial spraying license. I'm not getting into it that bad, so we won't be able to do the big lots still or people's property. It'll just be right-of-ways and alleys.
And they're bad, so we
Yeah.
should definitely,
Yeah, they
if you need to put money in there, we need to.
It's,
The
I just-
materials the county provides, like basically, like we don't pay for. Does that make sense? Like if he has his license, he just goes over and they go,
here's a bunch of Roundup. Go for it.
here's your stuff. Because we all pay into like the county weed board
Mhm.
money, and then they go, hey, here's, the county then buys all the material.
So do you need a vehicle to spray that with? Do you need the
We have
sprayer,
the-
the everything?
we'll use the four-wheeler.
Yeah.
And you have a tank and the sprayer and all that kind of stuff to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but
Time is really what we struggle with.
Does your new guy have his certification for that?
no, he does not. So
Okay.
honestly, it's just going to be best for me to get it. And
What do you have to do to get that?
there's 2 different tests that you have to take for that through the county.
Online stuff, or you got to go sit in the class?
Some of it's online, most, and then the tests and the 3-day class before it or something. I think your core test, I believe you can do online, but the rest of it is not. And that'll be new for me. I mean, we'll just do it. It's time to get done.
Does it cost anything?
Yes. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna, you know, and that'll probably be a yearly thing.
Is that in here? The
In
cost,
the
the initial
membership
cost, in
and
the weed,
registration. Yeah,
$85 or
$200?
no, $200.
right. It'll be right just below that.
Was any of this spent last year?
No,
Maybe fuel some? No.
There's nothing else.
nothing.
No.
Okay.
But I mean, it's just gotten to a point where it's got to be up.
The alleys are really, and it just.
Yeah.
turns-
Oh, I
goes
know.
like crazy.
I know. I mean, yeah.
All right, which kind of also ties into parks because there's parts of the park that we can't spray.
I mean, yeah,
That's where your Conley Park
Yeah.
playground revival. I don't know why I rolled with that, but that's what we did.
we cannot, I mean, you don't want to be spraying for weeds right around your water source. So the Comley Park, $5,000 is to take out all the old crud, re-weed mat, new boards, and 6 inches of wood chips.
Is the grass?
You don't mess with it.
Oh, okay.
And that's
What you,
$5,000.
Yeah, that
you
was
mean the grass. Sorry.
the people I
'Cause there's
called.
a
That
bunch of
was
grass there
total.
too,
That's
so is that all weeded
We
and
don't
stuff?
You
You
spray
can't weed.
it.
You
We
can't
don't spray Conley because there's
You can't even like weed and
Well,
feed
head
it?
protection.
no, because of the well protection.
yeah. I'm not. I don't. It's just not something I want to risk, really.
So yes, Thistle Park is getting
So yeah, that is Thistle Park. It's
de-thistled without spraying.
and
That's
then
the only
I
way we
think
can do it.
some of that also was to weed mat the fishermen too.
Yeah.
So he's getting pretty much the same way.
Can I ask about salaries though? Cause I think we skipped over salaries.
I just noticed those.
That's a huge jump.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and check that,
Okay.
Yeah.
because that is a big jump.
And
I'm
you've,
gonna go back, I wanna go back and recheck, I just noticed that.
and you've
Also,
always budgeted for U plus 3? Always?
Mhm.
But, yeah, I'm still gonna look at it, because that is a big jump.
Mm-hmm. Employer contributions, big again too, but I guess that's the pay scale, right? So,
You know, if we can't find that right third guy, I want to just hire somebody to mow this coming summer, giving us more time.
to focus
I mean,
on
our
what
mowing
you
is
We looked at
it's a
MMIA's
we just
90-day
spend
hire program.
days on
So
those
that's our
things, you
next-
know, and then it doesn't even all get done.
just
So
hire
that's
a
the
kid to
idea
go
for
mow the
next year
yards and
early
call it
is
good.
to run the 90-day hire. I guess the town used to do it. Susie said they used to, maybe way back when, don't know when. But it's not like the time period of 90 days. It is 90 total days of work. Whether it's, and you can still do a 10-hour day or a 12-hour day, or 3 hours still counts as a day. It's a different program through MMIA. They still can't exceed regular labor laws. They can't work more than 40 in their work week, but that's how some of them have done it. So it's like you mow this day and it might take you 10 hours or 12 hours to mow that day, but that's it for the week where that's all you do. So we were thinking about earlier in the year, try and run just the 90-day, see if there's somebody that just wants to mow and weed eating for 90 days.
Sounds like a pretty good job to me.
Mm-hmm.
I would, if that was you know, I would love it.
Me too.
It'd be pretty fun.
But I think we budgeted for small items. That's not the mower, is it?
Small items, equipment's all the same. Yeah, so repair and maintenance went down a little bit. Oil and gas, I mean, you know, that's the same. For electric. Repairs and maintenance services, other purchase service. This is like True Green.
Now, the electric under parks, is there streetlights in the Conley Park or?
There's lighting.
We've got power
Yeah.
on at Grandma Ennis Park,
Okay.
Yeah, there's lighting.
and then
I don't
All
think
of
there
them
is
are.
at Conley.
I think it.
Oh, yeah, it's on the other side of the street.
Is it, I think there is.
Yeah, so various parks
The line,
have
yeah.
Yes. Correct.
some electric
But I think but we have that broke down different, Corey. It's
Oh,
in,
really?
yeah, the Lions Park is the rest area facility because the
No.
rest area itself kind of takes more electricity and power.
Well, and the state pays for that.
Exactly.
Money we get from that.
So we bundle that one in together.
I did bump insurance in parks up to the regular parks and not the rest area because the state won't pay insurance for the rest area.
That's why it's split in two. Right.
And machinery and equipment, mower, that's a new mower
That is
Yes.
the,
for this 90-day employee?
We wanted to cycle through because Eric officially refers to one of the mowers as the rock mower. So when he does do like any,
two of them.
the not smooth part of the parks, and they've been going through and using the rock brake and trying to get some of it beat back. But there's certain parts of parks alleyways that
This is,
the uck mower, basically the rock mower, and then you eventually plan to replace the rock mower is the idea. So you keep the really good new one for the nice part of the park and lawns, and then the beat up one that keeps throwing belts.
two.
So you rotate it through.
We
Does
pretty
that make
much-
sense?
I mean, believe it or not, we wear those things out pretty quick. I'm actually surprised.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I am surprised. But this is a sturdier mower, not just a regular residential mower that we have now.
What do you think the average summer week is of mowing?
3 days. And in the heat of it.
3 days a week, you got somebody on a mower.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then
In the summer.
And then weed eating to boot.
Honestly, yeah.
Grass is a lot of maintenance.
I know how to kill bluegrass.
I mean, yeah.
Being through the parks.
Yep.
I mean, yes, for sure, 3 days. Rest area, that's budgeted for what we receive from the state. So that's all in there.
So
So
salaries and wages, it went from a person to a other purchase service as,
a contract.
yes,
And
that's
why
where that went.
And
That's why that
why was
changed.
that, why did that happen?
Because the person that Eric found to clean the restrooms, said I'm a contract worker. We checked with the state, and the state said, that's fine, they know that they'll pay their own
Taxes? Oh.
So they were okay with it, so Eric went with her.
Okay.
They used to do that over in Bozeman at that rest area off 19th. It's a contractor as well.
I think she's been doing a good job.
Is that still there?
It's closed.
Well,
I
is
just-
the building still there?
Yes. For a
We
little
really
longer.
need to hunt and see if we can steal the parts of that facility. Well, if they're gonna just bulldoze it all, those toilets honestly are in better condition than the ones at our facility. So
That's what I'm Chick-fil-A buying.
What's gas down at the Lions Club Park?
Propane?
For what? Because there's no
For what?
bathroom heater in the bathroom.
There is.
right?
There is.
Oh yeah. And yeah, when we open that up, it's still cold. And that's just there's no installation in that place
So
or
it's a
anything.
propane heater.
It
for
is
the bath.
propane,
Okay,
yes.
that makes sense.
Yes. I mean, that's,
and we ran it a lot trying to this spring focus the floor.
Yeah. and the
Trying to
hot
warm
water
it
and
up
stuff.
before the season to get it ready so that we could actually redo the nasty
Yeah.
ground flaking thing that we experienced last year.
And the water heater too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
You did?
Seems weird to me how much the insurance fluctuates in every different department.
Yeah,
This
and
seems
then
weird.
it's line item, I mean, they send me an amount
Huh.
on every piece of equipment or property that we have.
And other purchase services is for the cleaning
Yes.
and supplies?
Not supplies.
No
That-
supplies.
Generally comes out of repair and maintenance.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. And if toilet paper is going well, then at the end of it, we spend it on like the divider. This year, we didn't spend everything in the paper towel and toilet paper department, looked at the account at the end, and then bought the divider for the
We did the
men's bathroom.
floors and we got a divider for the men's bathroom, which is kind of,
Is there any big plans for that next year? No repainting or anything like that?
no.
Okay.
Not that, hopefully not. You know,
Hopefully it's okay for a bit.
she actually cleans really well, good enough. Like a lot of that stuff you guys seen when you were in there painting, the rust and whatever on the stainless steel is gone. I mean,
Good deal.
The children still put the toilet paper cookies on the ceiling.
so that did happen. Somebody Coke bottle and mementoed the floor we just painted, so
Oh,
it's back to doing that again.
is there cameras down there?
Not in the bathroom.
Not in there, but like at the entrance. Like you could,
It's
yeah.
it's always something down there.
But
I mean,
Dean Haney said you just plan for, it's a park and kids use parks and
Right.
they're heavily used and you just plan on it. That's a good point. Children are children.
Eric, if we jump to page 14,
No.
street maintenance assessment.
So these are the ones, I'm just gonna do all three at once because these are the ones, well, where are the other two?
Gas taxes on 17.
All right. Anyway, street maintenance, that's budgeted what we have in that,
In the district.
in the district, so.
And this is used for paving roads?
Yeah.
Or repairs.
Or
Repairs, anything like that.
So for future, you don't know next year if you're gonna pave a road or not.
I think we should start taking care of what we got. I don't know if you've seen them in town. They're getting pretty bad shape. So I have talked to a guy about resurfacing, milling and resurfacing, because you can't just go and add 3 more inches to these roads already. We already have a drainage problem in Ennis as it is. It's weird. But there is some
Well, paving takes away from Western appeal anyways. We
Yeah, but
want
some people are sick of the freaking dust, Corey, okay? Some people are over it.
I feel you, but honestly, $145,000 would get you like 2 blocks, 3 blocks.
Yeah. Probably not.
1.5.
One block.
You
and
know,
then you don't,
and-
and then you drain
I mean, that's
everything
just
out
to
of
be
there.
honest. So, I mean, it is what it is. That stuff's expensive. And then you got to get rid of it too.
Yeah.
Gas tax fund, also same thing. This can be used on maintenance. 25% of that goes to machinery. The other you can go using on roads, and that's what.
Say that again, Eric.
What page are you on?
Page 17.
Gas tax
Gas
fund.
tax fund, 25% has to go to,
It doesn't have
Not
to.
to. Only 25% may go towards equipment
okay.
is the statute on it. So like of our total, we can't be like, woohoo, we're
Right.
buying a new street sweeper this year.
And that's
actually-
written into the gas tax code law.
Correct.
So
So no street sweeper out of the gas tax.
Eric, that's the end of yours.
what about, okay,
What about?
I don't know. You guys have any questions?
What is the second part of the gas tax, HB 473?
That was a one-time special deal that the state did, Nikki, last year. And they were using up some money that they had. So that's what we have left over from what we got from them. And now it'll switch back to we just get the gas tax, the regular gas tax.
And where does this 63,000 go? Or
Which page are you
just
on?
stays in there?
18.
Page 18.
Okay, yeah, that's the 473. That's what we had left from what we got last year.
Okay.
So we put it to be spent this year. But we won't have that revenue coming in anymore. So this rolled over from last year. We had the $63,000 left over from what we got from the state.
So this is why we said like we didn't need to do the 2,500 towards the library for parking and gravel and this, that. We can use part of this since it's part of the town parking. And then it's not extra added to Karen's budget and then making her responsible for a parking lot for all of eternity.
Okay.
She's like, meh.
So it essentially just rolls over, but it can also only be used for
That.
Maintenance.
Yeah.
Correct.
Maintenance.
Okay.
No, I'm open to any questions here though. I mean, I think. Again, I would love to have
You
more
were gonna
time.
get back to it, look
for
into the
roads,
increase on the
but-
compensated absence and wages and get back to us though.
Yes.
Is that, you said you'd love to have more time for roads and weeds and stuff like that. Is that just because you're understaffed? If you were completely staffed with the 3+ you, could you get all this done?
All of it? No. It'd be hard. Honestly, no. 3 good guys? Yeah. Yeah. But
Well,
I
and
mean, you
even
can,
then, like, I think it's pushing it right now just because of the extra stuff that we've got going on in procuring land for the new, there's just a lot of administrative extras that aren't normal. In a normal cycle, we've added we're gonna have to go through our engineering phase, and I guess we can jump right into that. So go to page, because it ties right into Eric's. We have the rest of, where is it? Where's my ARPA page?
21.
I saw it somewhere.
21?
21.
Okay, so
Programs.
the ARPA money is needs to be used by the end of this year, by the end of fiscal 24, 25. So that's why we took our entire remaining amount. Like if you remember our last kind of conversations with Great West Engineering, we put all of it into the water source supply, plumbing, professional services. Because this will start the engineering phase of both of those projects. So it'll get it through the architectural, the whole actual site plans and the initial permitting if there's any extra So that's why that's there, is so that it specifically can get used for the water source and the well site. And then part of that is just, he's always got to keep track of documentation, and Ginger's got to keep track of the extra documentation. And then we have a grant administrator that helps us as well with all of that. There's just a lot of follow-up with these grants and stuff administratively. They're awesome, but they are not just like check the box and move on. They're a lot of follow-up along the way. But so that's why so last year, if you look, we had facilities, machinery, and equipment is where we had it, but we didn't use it. That was initially put in there to have a generator at Town Hall and one at the Conley Park. But now that we know that it has to get used, and we know that we're going into the first phase of the water projects, it went into professional services. We transferred the rest of it to there, and then left a little bit for repair of the transmission and distribution, in case there was any repairs that needed there, or hydrants, as we're part of our PER. Does that make sense?
Where does it show that?
What do you mean?
Nikki, it's all in water source.
Yeah, it's all in professional
It's all
services.
under water source.
Okay,
Nothing in transmission distribution. They spent some last year.
that's what it was.
Right.
We moved it all back
Yeah,
to,
they spent it last year.
moved it all into professional.
Mm.
Which was kind of the recommendation for making sure that it's used this year and get the plans done. Because we won't know about our grant cycle until maybe June, really, of next year. Does that make sense for the unset grant and the
Yeah, because they're all legislature driven, right? That
Right,
doesn't start
and-
until January, and by the time.
and then it's March, and then by the time you
Well,
get the official
and those always
letters.
go on the omnibus bill, which is the last week
Exactly.
anyway, so.
So they really expected that we won't hear until
Yeah.
June from those, but this has to be used, so do your original planning. Okay. So are we good there for the ARPA?
I think
Funds.
so.
Okay. All right, I think that is the rest of his parts.
Ginger, is it possible to get like a copy or a printout of, like John was talking earlier, that money that was set aside for the second officer and like in that account and like the cash reserves and that kind of stuff? Can we see a spreadsheet of that or a Black Mountain?
I don't know how that. Yes, I can come up with something.
Okay.
Okay. Can we take a,
Page 25.
do you want to go back through water and waste
This is the stuff we did
the other
the
night?
other
Yeah.
day just by itself, right?
Correct.
25, 6, and 7.
Yes, let's have a recess.
Can we have, do you have a motion for a mini, we're in work session. Can we
So we
take
don't
a
really
5-minute?
I don't think we need a motion. I think we just,
We need to walk around, but we already did water and sewer the other night. Or if there's anything else, like, it's a good time to ask. There's right here.
I have a question for you, Eric. You're purchasing a bunch of, well, I don't bunch of, but a number of vehicles or pieces of equipment. Is it better why is it better to purchase than lease or rent or lease for rent? As far with regard to like repairs and tires,
Yeah.
you know, all the stuff that they
I can
need.
go get it.
I'm just trying to understand what makes more
I need,
sense.
Right, of course.
Because you're gonna park all this stuff probably out back, right? It's all open, it's not uncovered. I don't know. I mean, Is it possible to lease that stuff? And then not,
I don't know if you could lease sewer equipment, honestly.
I would expect from work to hear.
I honestly don't know.
Nice.
mean,
I didn't, I definitely took a.
I need to look into it, or.
cause then, I don't know, I was just thinking about all the stuff that goes into it, like the maintenance and the insurance and the tires and the,
She's
the
really good at
upkeep,
what she does.
all that stuff. And then you
The
you
accounting
probably have to have
booklet
somebody that's certified
It's
to
not
work
bad.
on it, right? Or no? I mean,
It's
I
not
don't know,
like she's
I don't even
doing
know what
anything.
this
No.
stuff
You know
looks
what I
like.
mean?
Sure.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, a jetter,
That was the last time.
what
I
we
was
did buy
failure
was a
in
jetter.
Business was
That
basically
just-
when I didn't.
it's a big,
have-
huge jetter, clean sewer lines.
Well, that's me.
Yeah,
I
well.
do want to purchase a back trailer
Yeah.
for the town.
And it bounced checkbooks, I just made sure money kept rolling in or tried anyway.
I don't know, I was just thinking about the other day.
And I'm
I know
so
we
anal
talked
with
about
all
it.
my stuff on
I
there.
mean-
I look at it like 3 times a
Wondering about
day,
that.
make sure that
I
this
don't
stuff
know,
goes
'cause I don't-
here. You know what I
Cause,
mean?
I mean, the stuff will,
Okay,
eventually it'll be
Yeah.
outdated.
Oh, yeah.
When you lease stuff, it's like, oh, okay,
Well,
here you
not
go.
funny,
I'm
but I
gonna
mean,
lease a
you gotta
new one
use
now,
that.
or,
Yeah.
or an more up to date one.
I
I
know,
don't know.
I looked into leasing with the grader purchase. With us having it around and not paying to truck the thing back and forth twice a year.
Well, so how, that's another thing too then, is how often, like, those pieces of equipment, how often do you use it? Do you use them
Well,
all the time, or is it just?
now
like,
that we got one that runs, yeah, we're gonna use it more.
Yeah. How many months out of the year?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you, the 3 months. I mean,
I'm actually hitting my accountant right now for,
oh man, something to look into.
cross country coaching gig, and I'm just like.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I was just thinking about it the other day, after we talked, I'm like,
Same
I
amount
wonder
of
if this,
bike
can
coach
you do that?
too, and
It's not like
Well,
a
a
car,
hiking coach.
You know what I would,
equipment.
you need the bikes because running all the time is very intensive on your knees. And so some of these kids, you put them on bikes, just to get the aerobic component, but not wear out their knees before the match. Now you afford your bike.
I can't even keep up with them, so I had to ride.
Oh.
The ride to keep up with them today. So those kids can cruise. They're only sophomores, and they are. I was able to keep up with them at the beginning of the season, but
They built up a little stamina.
it doesn't take long for them. I'm like, that was all I had. So
leaving you behind.
the coach was like, "You're gonna have to get on a bike. I'm sorry." I'm like, I want to ride now. You're on the clock. Get on your bike. You're told.
biked up?
Question for you.
I probably made it.
All the water samples you sent out, all come back clean.
I like your
Yeah,
bikes.
give you the results.
I have.
You gave me the ones for my, but I mean the whole town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not just ours. You gave me ours, and I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yes, sir, I did. They were all fine. What it goes, I'll send you what I sent to DEQ.
No,
Yeah, they were good.
Okay.
I was actually, that was great though.
Who brings it back?
We're totally 100% compliant now. We have no red marks with DEQ over anything.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you gave me the printouts for mine, then I gave them to the renters in that house. I said, here, just so you know.
No, they were all good.
Yeah, okay, I just wondered.
I was surprised too because we did so many older places.
Yeah, I figured that Ennis Street house, if it was gonna come back, that'd be.
I kind of, I don't know, I need to get back.
I think they had a higher copper
They
level.
had a slightly increased copper level, but that would make sense, there's a bunch of copper pipe in their house.
But yeah, they were all fine.
Yeah.
Well within our parameters.
Yeah, it was still, it was slightly elevated, but still well below.
There's gonna be a time where that copper solder is gonna have to come out of there.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't know.
Well, before it became like
I mean,
a big deal.
they made all the schools
to
do
stuff
it.
online.
Yeah.
So
Or you just turn the water off, run packs, and just cut it.
In Ennis was
I mean, that's how I would go about it. Great. This is how I'm gonna fix it.
But yeah, they were all fun. I do appreciate you doing it. It was awesome.
It's kind of funny, I haven't found whatever, you can pull it off, I should be able to pull it off too, I could put it in here, can't I?
I always.
As you should. Part of being an American.
Yeah.
You don't exercise.
So this is my feedback.
We're going to slow down a little here.
I would like to replace.
We've got consistent.
Oh, yeah. I know it's annoying that you have to grab the mug. Yeah. Because my cup's just, I never get out. Me too, I have to use the bathroom. I do go.
Has one been completed?
Yes, this is from 2023.
It's just like when we put those
This
bathrooms in.
year in.
Yeah.
In the spring, every week.
Oh, we're talking budget right now.
It's not the budget, Corey. We use our little plastic container and transfer it like good little children.
I always end up in the girls' bathroom filling my, well, my container fish center, but I didn't realize we had a.
That is hilarious.
I mean, why my shop manager, he's still talking around, he's for salary. He's there, and then Cade stayed when he wanted to stay. So yeah, someone stayed, but somebody needed his reason. Yeah.
It's funny, I spent a lot of time over in Thailand and it's like the capital.
Yeah.
Training. But I went into Staples the other day to see like an actual like non-Asian person that's going to.
I was trying to do a summary. What I choose. Contribution. Yeah, a lot of this stuff.
But I did feel better.
This is legal service. But anyway, there's a lot of systems that went down. But yeah, I was looking at.
Like crazy, but that was actually a personal friend of mine. And that's like you said.
Right. There was one more page for Eric.
I was afraid of that.
What?
Okay.
Well, I guess, I can't remember if we did Mad Towns.
I don't think so.
Ready?
What page is that?
Hey guys, shall we truck through some more? Broke it up so that we could do some more. I don't know if we can get through all of it, including revenues.
Right.
Are you guys?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I think, I couldn't remember if we did Mad Town the other night. That's the other one. That's Eric's while he's here.
Did we?
I don't think so. So that's page 30.
That's page what, 30?
30, the very last page
Very last.
is. So you have to come back and do Mad Towns.
It's pretty short.
That's what we got.
is what we use it for. We use that for everything, fixing
The shared equipment between
shared
the,
equipment, between Mad Towns. We all do the repairs, you know.
What's bad debt expense between towns? Did another town like shirk on their responsibilities or something?
Zero. But
Harrison.
I'm not seeing what you're looking at.
810.
810.
Bad debt losses.
in
So
no
unless
idea.
it's too far back, I don't even remember.
I have no idea.
No,
what
okay,
that
yeah.
is.
Yeah, that was
only
last
2 years
year.
ago.
That's a new
That
one.
was a long time ago.
2 years ago, that's not that
Yeah.
far. Your grader, or the town's grader, will that be shared?
No, that's
We're not
stays
gonna let
here.
anybody touch that thing, right?
No, that's the
That's
towns
Or
None
the
of
vac-
that.
Or the vac machine.
or the vacuum machine.
That's probably how it works. Being rents up to
So.
Oh.
Could do that, you know.
Okay. Other, alright. So, let's go, where are we?
But that does not include weed spraying stuff. That's the weed board.
Mhm.
But again, I mean, I could say this, but if the town has to spray weeds, why am I paying the county?
For the material, right?
I'm sure.
Material, I guess. What, I don't even know what it is on a, off the top of my head on my property taxes.
2 bottles of pesticide a year is worth what everybody in town pays the county.
Fly.
Ginger, right, okay, page 24.
Perfect.
Is that,
That's the CIP fund.
do we have to look at that one?
Oh.
Exactly.
Got stuff in there.
Okay, so star that, cause that's gonna be corrected. Cause, if you look at,
So this is not correct what we have.
No,
I just noticed this.
Okay.
No, it's
I
just
didn't
an
notice
old
it at all.
page or something.
I saw it. I was gonna
It's in the
ask.
I
old-
but-
gotta dump the numbers in there that we talked about earlier,
Mhm.
like the library.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, but why doesn't it
Okay,
match?
sorry, I missed it.
So law enforcement will have
10,
10.
the library will have 18.
Okay, so those numbers will be those.
And law enforcement, that's the vehicle
That's
that
That's
we
the
talked
vehicle.
about earlier, right?
right.
Yep. And then we've got the same thing going for roads.
No, he gave up the street maintenance when he got
Oh yeah.
the truck
So, okay,
for this year.
Mhm.
when we did the budget resolution, we had borrowed money from water and sewer,
Yes.
from sewer.
Sewer.
So we didn't put capital improvement in this one because we have the repayment back to
That
sewer.
that 5,000 or whatever it is from capital improvement just goes to pay back the loan to sewer.
Correct.
Yes.
So that number is not there. We didn't put more in capital improvement. We're paying back the greater amount. And then the libraries goes to 18.
It's gonna be the 10 for the car and then the 18 for the various library stuff going into CIP.
Mhm.
And I wanted to somewhere this year actually put in for that plan because I think
Oh,
this
wait,
page should be a real,
It's
what?
gonna be on the revenue side. Because they're not spending any of that this year.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
So they're not spending anything. This is the expenditure side of the budget.
Uh-huh.
The revenue
So they're
part's
not
got it.
spending any of that money this year. So you're gonna see it come in on the revenue side
Okay. Yep.
Sorry, guys.
into CIP.
There it is. So if you look at page 19 of the revenues, there it is. So this
Oh,
page
revenue,
is
yeah.
correct because we're not spending what we have in capital. we're revenuing it into capital. Oh my word.
I told you I'm fading.
Yeah, about 9 o'clock, my numbers don't match up. So there they are. There's the police car, and then there's the libraries. And the breakdown for its capital improvement.
You said page 19?
On revenues, correct.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. So sorry, guys.
I can scratch out my star.
I just changed my notes again. Okay. All right. All right. So I'm just kind of going through the shorter ones. I don't think we're going to make it through all of it in one foul swoop tonight. Where it still makes sense clearly because that.
Planning board,
Planning board.
page 8.
Which page?
8.
On revenue?
And, no, expenditure. So in their, the first portion of that is the grant that they got, and it's broke down.
The 36,000 is the grant total. So it was 30,000 in the actual grant amount, and then 6,000 was our matching contribution. 5,000 of that's actual in funds, and 1,000 of that is in labor.
Match.
In-kind match. Okay, so that's where that is towards the growth policy.
I had went over this with Lyndon and he was good with it.
So that finishes
Craig,
out.
did he bring anything to any of the rest of you? No.
Nope.
So what are your thoughts?
It looks okay to me.
What does the in-kind match mean?
That can be labor on our side.
Okay.
So, any bookwork that I do could be charged back.
When we go through the consulting thing, when they're asking for certain documents and this, that, and the other, you know, Brenna go pull some of those and her times in kind.
Yeah.
Things like
It
that.
shows so many X number hours of work at
The rates.
whatever rate.
Okay.
Can't be volunteer.
Yeah, well, and some of it very likely will be.
Okay. I thought,
You know, if a planning
We're
board
doing it,
member does
right.
something,
We're doing it.
yeah.
We, the planning board members, sorry.
sure, are ultimately volunteering, yeah. Or you're in an unpaid position.
So there's that. There should be, where is land use?
4 or 5.
Just go on to the next one, the economic development.
Oh yeah.
That
Corey.
was- That's page 9. And that's what Corey turned in for resort time stuff.
Yeah. We're getting closer.
So we're calling resort tax economic development.
That's where it got lumped right now.
Under one of the precursor
Sure, why
headings, that
not?
was the one that we could
Why not?
figure out.
You wanna call it a fish tax?
So yes, Commissioner Hardy put these numbers together with the help of Karen.
Karen, whatever you are, I'm just here.
Gave him some guidance. As to an initial, this isn't a yes, no, this is purely an educational program, basically, at this point.
Mhm.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Corey asked for that and we found that amount in there. All right, and okay, where do you want to go?
Next page.
Yeah.
Local government review, we went through this because we had to put the budget together before it ever went to vote because it was on the ballot. So this is those exact numbers from local government review. Brittany?
Do we have to vote for removal off the ballot because we didn't?
There's this very specific time period for that, and we weren't going to meet it with our meeting dates, so it's going to be on there. I talked to Paula, and you have from the date that the application closes, you have, I'd have to pull her emails, you have X amount of days to have a resolution back to her, and our meetings fell where we weren't going to get the resolution back to her by one day. We would have had to have an extra meeting to throw in a resolution to cancel the election. She said it doesn't matter. It'll go through and
People can write in.
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know on write-ins on this one.
On local government
From
review.
everything that I've talked to her, she's talked appointments
I will ask Dan that.
of the third person.
Okay.
I did not know that. That's a good question.
Okay. Yay. So
ask Dan if write-ins are.
and is that why there's no money in elections in that line item?
Oh, I took it out thinking we were gonna meet the date.
Oh.
So, thank you, good catch. I'm gonna have to put that back in.
What? And it's like $400 or something?
I'm gonna call and ask her for an estimate.
Oh, okay.
I
feel like I remember.
Because the last election, as you can see, was 787. So I'm gonna ask her for an estimate of our portion.
Okay.
And when I initially called, or I went off the initial, we're still good budget-wise in the amount that we levied for it. The number could have been as high as 3,000 if it was not, if the county didn't choose to do it at the same time and it was just us and we were solely responsible for that election cost of that portion, that's how high it would have been. But now that it's settled and it's the county and multiples, then it reduces the cost because there's multiple sharings.
Can I ask a question on levied mills? Because I didn't pay attention to that part anywhere. Are they carry on forever? Like, can you cancel? I don't know, any kind of levied mill.
Like the 6 voted mills for the library.
Yeah.
They're perpetual. They will happen every year. They
But-
don't,
and
there
once
wasn't
it's-
a time limit set on them.
And that was voted on?
Yes.
So anything that's voted on is on there for perpetuity?
Yeah, it was the same.
It's
with
how it's
the-
originally written.
It was the same with the law enforcement. They were put on for like into perpetuity.
Okay.
So if the second officer's never hired for like 5 years, they won't go back and readjust that?
I don't.
Or give their
know the process.
taxpayers back their money?
I've never run into
They would
it.
just continue to take the money for the second officer even though there isn't the second officer?
Yeah, there is possibly a way of reversing that, but I don't know, I would have to question that.
That's a legal question.
What happens to the money?
Well, then you asked for that much less out of general fund since it was specifically those mills must be to police department. So if they're not used, we just reduce that amount asked for out of the general fund next year. Does that make sense?
It does.
Is that what happened with Officer Fisher's remaining salary as well?
Yes. So that's part of that 11% less was those voted mills, so it's. What was my legal question? Legal. Can
I just
a per-
put
Be in there
voted
forever.
levies in perpetuity. But you can turn that into your own.
In-
It's a big word. I felt fancy saying it.
How do you spell it?
I spelled it
Okay.
Perpetuity.
So that's that. We'll fix the election amount on here, but it doesn't, the bottom line won't change. Cause that was the, I think we just moved it into other purchase services, if I remember right. And that was the, you can hire somebody to help gather and compile the data. Like, that's what they did last time, and Ellen Bihar, they paid her to help compile it.
Who was it?
Ellen, Art's wife. And then that budget's gonna be off already, I can tell you, because like I was pretty close on calculating like postage and stuff, and I did not expect the multiple jumps that it's already taken, so. There's that. Okay. PERS, that's,
What page?
I just went
11.
right to the next page, economic development. Local government review, PERS, is the retirement.
Oh, employer contribution.
Yeah, our contribution into the retirement.
And what is that?
Do you guys get PE?
Is it a
Public employee retirement?
right? But like, what is it a percentage? Is it
It
a,
is. The employee pays 7.9%.
okay?
And I believe we have a match of that with some admin fees to PERS. I believe this year it is total, I'm gonna double check, Nikki, 8.7. I'll check that for sure, because they just capped out on, they were having a raise on that every year in that employer amount, and it capped out this year.
At 7.9%.
No, that's the employee.
Oh.
And then the employer matches plus some admin fees.
Okay.
So that's where you think it's 8.7 instead of 7.9.
Right.
Gotcha.
Who manages this for town? Do you?
The state.
The state
The
does.
state manages this.
The PERS. Did you get a little thing? Okay.
They do, yeah.
Do you guys do it?
No.
I mean, I guess.
It's not much. You have to,
Okay.
I think, put in for it. You have to,
Yeah, there's
Right.
forms when you, in your initial packet, when you came on, it's part of the thing.
Oh, I did see that. I figured the number's so damn small here.
I'm gonna be retiring next year.
Yeah, rub it in, man. Once we hit that resort tax, huh?
All right. Health insurance. On page 12. And that's from the permissive mills.
Well, 12 and
Oh, this? Sorry, I was looking.
I know, you are intent.
12 is on page 12, that's the gross amount that's going to be spent or may be spent. And then but page 13, there's permissive mills, but when they come in, they're transferred into the 2371 health insurance. So you're gonna see numbers on both pages, but the 235,056 is the gross amount.
And how many people does that cover?
believe we have 9 or 10 on there now.
Employees
Yes.
plus their families though, right?
Families, right?
And families, correct.
And does the employee pay anything?
Dental and eye and life.
Okay. So expenditure budgets overspent on the findings and responses of the audit. The health insurance, employer contribution, and gas tax funds were overspent for the year ending June 30, 2023.
Yeah,
That is this.
Over the health insurance with the state afterwards. And they are helping me fix that because it was some monies that were not, I'm gonna say flipped correctly.
Okay, well, let's pay attention to that from now on because it says the expenditure report will be reviewed monthly, and or is that us? Yeah, we'll be taken to the town commission for consideration. So if you'll just keep us in the loop with that, that would be important.
So, and then remember last month when we did claims and I pointed out the asterisks? Because you said we want to see the expenditures and then every single line has the asterisks on it, the 3 stars or whatever. And every single line item did because we hadn't adopted a budget. Those are our warning signs in our claims packet that if we're over that. So I don't know if we should, I don't even know if it would be good to highlight it at the beginning because it gets lost at the top of the page. I mean, it was very obvious when every single line item had asterisks. Okay.
Can I just verify, so every employee is covered 100% as well as all their dependents for
Correct.
health insurance?
Why would you not choose my plan?
Too.
Yeah, my
Thank you.
my husband, his is paid, and then we have to pay for ours.
So
That's insane.
So is that correct? Is that what,
That's what I'm
Yeah.
asking, and it sounds like that's correct.
That is
Yes,
correct.
that's correct.
okay.
I think there's an
Oh, shit.
opening there.
I know, I'm doing that 90-day job.
90 day doesn't get it. 90 day doesn't get it. Sorry. That's not part of a 90 day, and that's why we were thinking the 90 day would be.
So you said there's 10 people on the insurance and the most we're gonna spend is 235,000. That's 23,000 per employee.
Because it's all the employees' families too.
God, that seems like a lot of money.
It is a lot of
A
money.
lot of money.
It's a crazy, and if it's in the audit, then that's maybe not how it's supposed to be.
I don't know, I'm thinking my own, I mean, we got me, we got 2 of us on, there's 3 of us full-time.
So there is a Montana code on here. Do you know, Ginger or Nikki, what was overspent? Like if there's a amount of money that it gets capped at?
Say that again.
So there's a Montana code, section 76/4005. Just the health insurance employer contribution was overspent. So is there a bottom line? Is there a cap?
No. If I'm understanding what you're asking,
Well, then how was it possible to overspend?
because I didn't get the transfer done correctly. So it is being corrected. And that is the state that's helping me do that.
Who provides our insurance? Is it through MMIA?
Yes.
It's a pool through MMIA of all the cities and towns.
The small town, yeah.
Yeah, they go shopping.
All of the, I think even the big dogs.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
So, but then the response,
The
the
big
expenditure
7.
budget will be reviewed monthly, and if it is found or that there is or will be overspending in the matter, will be taken to the commission for consideration for a resolution of budget amendment. Departments heads have been notified that this is their responsibility to monitor the budget for the funds and accounts they have spending authority in.
Can you repeat that code that they're citing? Because
4005. Local government officials may not make a distribution or an expenditure or incur an obligation in excess of the total appropriations for a fund. The local government official who violates subsection is liable for the amount of the excess disbursement, expenditure, or obligation personally. The subsequent claim approval process may not be considered as the making of disbursement or an expenditure or as incurring an obligation and does not otherwise limit or mitigate the local government official's personal liability.
So it's an overdraft, right? Is that what that
I just
suggested?
read it. It didn't sink in, Corey. I don't know. That's kind of Greek to me.
I mean, we evaluated, I can't remember, 3 years ago, everybody's wages. I know we did a raise for the library at one point, and then I think we did we not do the rest of the town? We did public works, did we not? Raise that up, I feel like.
But that was at a different time.
That was at a different time, yeah, because at that time, I think starting wage
But
was
we-
16 or something.
The previous council approved that, but then
Correct.
when we got into office, you said you would make it right, and I think you did.
We got 5%.
Well, we just did the cost of living increase. It was never
Oh,
spread across the board.
so that is what they're saying is a no-no?
No, Corey just got off on a different tangent.
Okay,
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
mind.
No,
Never mind.
I think it's ultimately up to the town, correct? What we pay our employees, and if you come in with 5 kids and are like, wow, this is a good perk for me, then it's a good fit for you. But if you don't, then it potentially isn't, I guess. There's value there, and that was the concept, was that if you, people who have kids and families have a tendency to stick around longer than somebody who doesn't, and doesn't see that the value in
Sure.
all of those services. So,
Sure,
'cause
but why
we
is
were-
it up to the taxpayer to pay every penny of that in that excess amount?
We actually paid, I don't want to say his name, but we paid to have a guy move up here from Colorado, and he stuck around for 6 months and then split. He didn't have any kids, and that's why at that point in time it looked very attractive. We were like, well, we have to leave this in place. We're not going to go pulling it out of the budget at that point in time, because it's potentially why Eric's here, you know.
That was my number one selling point, getting this job. I'll just put that out there. I saw that and I was like, sold.
Well, right, as everybody probably would, but that's a lot.
Sure.
That was
Sure,
one
no,
of
I
the-
agree with you.
Taxpayers, I
They-
mean,
That was one of the comments on the officer that we interviewed, was that the insurance was at least a good, decent look at, because the wage was considerably lower than the other departments he was looking at applying to. So I guess it was one of the two factors, like how much do I want that versus a higher paying. And I don't know where that answer plays in, but
I think at a certain point, it probably needs to be like grandfathered in or something, because that's just me talking, maybe I
They
don't.
talked about doing that, Nikki, but it's been rolled
Yeah.
over, like, I don't know how many times.
Yeah, I think I brought it up last year or something, but.
Or capped, for that matter.
Capped.
Maybe just, however many kids you have, you can do 2.
But then, wouldn't that be discrimination?
How do you pick your favorite?
I was just about to say.
Right.
I cannot do that anymore.
Difficult
Just tell them an
positions.
amount, we'll pay X amount of money toward your health insurance. You have to pay the rest, whether you have 5 kids or 10 kids, that's not our problem.
Sure.
lot. That is a lot. And there's hardly gonna be anybody else that's gonna, employer is gonna pay 100% everybody's health insurance.
That's more than a lot of
You're
them.
not gonna find that anywhere else. Do you pay, do y'all,
I pay
business
my,
owners?
I pay my full-time year-round employee, which is only one,
Right,
100% of his health insurance.
but does he have a family?
No,
Okay,
he's-
right.
yeah.
But when you're desperate for help, it's like, how do you make that attractive when people are going to stick around?
What's the county's program? I guess is my other thing right now, because if, the sanitarian is running it, when they ran that position, it was $45 an hour. I guess that would be the other thing, like I would want to know is if the county's paying $45 an hour and they have, I don't know which insurance plan how their insurance plans go.
My mom used to work for the sanitarian, and so my father got health insurance, but none of the kids did.
So
it's for your spouse, you and
Your spouse, that makes sense too.
So yeah, I'd be all about putting some sort of cap of some sort, yeah.
Some kind of restriction, because that is more than like.
So that's like an extra $11.32 an hour per employee.
wait, how'd you come up with that? Sorry.
Took the 23,000,
Okay.
divided it by 2060, 52 weeks times 40 hours, and it comes up to 11.3269, blah, 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 blah.
So that's another like 22 grand a year.
Yeah.
20 grand, 22 grand a year. Is what it's worth.
And if that ain't
Well,
a
yeah,
deciding factor on taking a job, I don't know what the hell is.
11,
Well, it'd be the same amount,
yeah,
right?
it's like a
It's
$11
like-
an hour
Benefit.
benefit. Yeah.
Right, but when you look at our wages, which we're gonna approve,
So if we just hired a guy for Eric at $20 an hour, but the county's hiring him at 30,
we
Depends
still
on-
win.
Depends on what the
Yeah.
county's
And- Well, if he has a
health
family.
insurance is like.
Yeah.
You have to,
So it
You
looks
know,
like
and whatever
I'm
else they
looking at a
have.
county position that's posted, and they offered the package for the full-time employee. But it doesn't say family. It's not family, it's just
But it
We
says,
offer-
it says package.
benefit.
I
package
believe
for
you
full-time
can
employee.
get your family on the county one, but I think
You pay the difference.
the employee pays the difference.
exactly, yeah.
Are they MMIA also?
No,
The county's different?
counties are different.
Okay.
They have, is it NACO?
Yeah, but I don't know if Mako has.
I don't know what-
Mako has the insurance angles.
Well, I suggest we look into some kind of resolution for this and not let it keep rolling.
yeah, well, I think the wages just went up, like, I think, overall across the board, I think on an average of like, I don't know, 7 or 8%,
Well, yeah, that's,
right?
We did not do a 5% increase we did the cost of living wage increase at 3%. Right.
Yeah.
they did 3, and probably the reason the ear number's off because Public Works has already been grandfathered into, last year we did a resolution, right?
Right.
But
This is a hard one.
Yeah, you definitely have to sit down, crunch some numbers. There again, figure out what type of people you're trying to attract to work for the town that are gonna stick around. Employee retention is pretty important, in my opinion.
that's true.
And again, in our little bubble of the world, it's extra special where Big Sky has its resort tax and its pay is exceptionally high. And then you have Bozeman with a large tax base and their pay is exceptionally high compared to ours. And then West Yellowstone also has the resort tax as well. So your closest basically big comparable government entities have the ability to pay a considerably higher wage than we do.
in Virginia
And nobody
City.
has any,
Plus her resort tax then.
right, and nobody has housing.
Yeah.
But that's everywhere.
Right, right. No.
But in the meantime, they don't have to bury the taxpayer.
Agreed. That's a lot of money.
Where are
Well,
we?
the way that it's written too, there's 3 different tiers of health insurance, and it says that the town will pay for any of them, so of course everyone picks
The gold,
the.
so there's like gold, silver, bronze, like any health insurance package.
So I guess you could rewrite it as like a wage in lieu of, but I mean, if you just cut one and don't change the wage spectrum, I don't know if it's,
Or say you'll offer the bottom one for everyone, but then if you want the top tier, then the employee's gonna pay for it. Just something to cut this huge amount.
Break the percentage down, where most employers pay 80% anyway on their insurance, well, except you, Mr. Wayne. You're different, you're an employee, but a lot of employers only cover 80%. If they want extra out, you put it in supplemental.
That's the problem. That's after you hit the deductible. That's after you hit the deductible.
Right, which is more attainable if you're not paying the premium.
Right. No, exactly.
But what's the deductible for the highest tier?
$1,500.
Yeah.
I mean, very low.
Wow.
I think this is something we have to look at in the next year.
Yes, for sure.
You probably should.
I
Not
see
gonna
it both
solve it
ways.
now, but-
Number one, I believe in taking care of your people.
Yes.
And the people that work for me, I take care of very, very well. And I believe that the people doing the work for town, we should probably take care of them because they're our people. $11 an hour, it seems pretty excessive. And people don't get into town work because it's really cool and fun. They gotta listen to us bitch all the time.
Yeah.
And this is one of the benefits of working for the government organization is the check's not gonna bounce every Friday, and it may be smaller than coming to work in the private sector, but the benefit packages are usually better than what you see in the private sector, which I totally agree with. And that's part of taking care of our people, because God knows, people like Eric, we kind of need him here, and that guy gets more crap than anybody I've ever seen. And so
True, but it's hard to put that on the taxpayers. I mean,
it is, but they're the taxpayers' people.
yes.
I'm not saying that 235,000 is the right number to budget for that. It's just, I understand that people who work for government agencies
Aren't doing it for fun yet.
aren't doing it because, I take my guys to Belize every winter. When was the last time you went to Belize on the county?
Still on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Taco Bell hiring $25 an hour.
Yeah.
Staff managers up to 27. Eric makes what?
30 something.
30 something.
30 something.
Yeah. That's Eric. Everybody
Yeah.
else makes.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but
I mean,
some of the library people make $17.50.
that is a huge expense that the taxpayers are responsible for.
Yes.
I don't,
But it's a huge responsibility.
but it's a huge responsibility of ours to take care of our folks.
Until you're actually like begging for somebody to take over his position. At one point we were, I guess it depends how desperate you are. So, but I'm not denying that that we maybe shouldn't cap like the number of
Mhm.
recipients.
I think there needs to be some deep dive on that, but I'm not sure that we're gonna do it at 9:24 at night.
Agreed.
It's a different meeting.
Agreed. Yeah, it's a different meeting, but let's not forget about it and
No.
bring it back up.
List is good.
Yeah, put that on your list.
No, you don't throw it on there. I got 7 done, and then they get that one show. You're at 6 supervisors.
Okay, where were we?
I'm speaking of taxpayer.
Are you still thinking or are we moving on?
I think we're ready to move on.
Tree fund, Corey, page 20.
Because we went over street maintenance assessment.
Did we already do tree fund?
No, we didn't do tree fund.
Well, it's the same as it always was.
Did you put that together for me?
Have any tree planting ideas? I'm all ears.
I thought you threw that out with trees out front. I think is a great idea.
Well, yeah. I mean, before we pave that, yeah, I would like to explore some more options.
Why did I heard something like after the last meeting or something that these are on their way out too?
They're at the end of life cycle, kind of getting close to it, just that.
My parents look exactly the same. They have like some dead in the trees, so it's. I was gonna find a Marie. Check on the trees. All trees.
It's a pretty good budget. You can buy a lot of trees with that, huh? I mean, a few full size. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like one tree.
Yeah, well, a full size tree.
Yeah.
But if he gets little ones, maybe.
So how many last year did you actually purchase?
6?
We purchased, was it?
6.
Yeah, maybe that was all it was. And then we purchased a bunch of small ones for the kids. We did a field trip for the 7th graders, and they took their trees home and planted them. So, yeah. But other than that, we have to start identifying some of the trees that need to be replaced here in town.
That was easy. If you guys go to page 23, that's special assessment debt. And this money just gets transferred into general fund. We've cleared out our SID bonds. We're done paying them. But we still have some money coming in that was owed for them. So when it comes in, I just transfer it into general.
What is SID?
It was the
Street
Madison
improvement.
Avenue street paving
Yeah.
project.
Yeah.
Special.
Okay.
District.
That one's just pretty much straightforward.
Okay, our utility. Where are we? All right, guys, it's 9:30. Do we want to break and then continue tomorrow night?
What do we have
We have to
left?
go through all of the revenue, so that there's that. And then the remainder of court, general,
I think that's it.
court and general. Or we're gonna push through.
Where's court in general? What page is it?
General fund, page 1.
Yeah.
Go back to page
Yeah.
1. Right.
1.
Got it.
I'm not sure I have expenditures or revenue in me.
Okay. All right, so GASB 68 is actually not in existence anymore. Showed a couple times. All right. Administration. All right, aren't we back into, yes, general. Ginger, take us
What
away.
page is this?
Page 1.
Page 1. We're starting over. No.
We didn't do the land services. Where is
It's
it?
in general too. If you just start on page 1,
Okay.
we'll get to it.
All right, you start off page 1, Ginger.
Well, the first one is that, if there's questions.
Why would the wages decrease?
Maybe you missed count last year. But I double check, I'll double check them again, but
And you also didn't have any help last year, so that.
I marked it.
So where, do we ever see a portion of the budget, like what was last year versus what we actually spent? Because that would be useful to
That's
see.
on here.
Yeah, that's here.
It is?
There.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see actuals from
actuals.
2021, 2022, 23, 24. You can
Oh,
see
what was
actual
actual?
there, and then the current budgeted for 23, 24. Yeah.
So the actuals were 37,838 with a budget of 67,886. So going forward, it's been reduced to 50,350.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we need to check that one along with the one that's way over.
I got it.
Okay. So that'll work. Like we'll get through this expenditures tomorrow night. We can go over the corrections and revenue. Sound good?
Carry on.
But
Okay.
probably could be because 22 to 23, 22, 23, and and then the actuals were more than in 23, 24 also. So
Mm-hmm.
I
could
think
go that way. But
the 50 is probably close to being correct. But I will double check it.
Okay.
Compensated absences.
And that's me. And I'm actively using some of my time
Every pay period.
and in hopes of taking some time this fall.
That's the plan there. But yeah, we've been using, that's been the plan is to use some every pay period. So by shortening days, whatever it is, so that it's not increasing.
I don't know if this is budgetary and I don't know how I can ask this.
So just ask.
Well, so if we have if we have full staffing now, are the doors going to be open longer? The hours going to be changed?
As soon as our training period's through. That's the idea.
Okay. Is it like a 3-month training period? Or like a...
I wish I could say it was like perfect. It's going to depend on, I mean, might just have to, I've seen some places do where it says like a little sign that says, I want to say this meanly, but like, in conference call, do not disturb. So maybe it's one of those things where like, actually we're caught up at this moment. We're doing it. We're just in conference, do not disturb. So we can block out time there. So that's like my overall thought is back to the open Friday once we're through a couple more training items. And then if we need specific times,
hours?
like, if there's another Black Mountain training video that Brenna wants to watch that she really wants to focus on, then we'll just have like an in training or in conference call. I don't know how else to do it so that you can actually get the full experience of the training without it being interrupted. I know I don't retain when I'm interrupted during the training part.
So is
I
Maria
think I
still
do better
part-time?
under pressure.
Maria will not be here. I think I don't have her date, but Maria will not be assisting the town anymore after, I can't remember her date. All right, office supplies. That's about the same. Well, actually, yes, an increase. It's closer to the previous years of 21 and 22.
I'm sorry, office supplies and water.
And meter?
Water?
No.
Oh, meat.
Matter.
Matter.
Oh, materials, just not the full word, okay. I thought it said water, I was like, is there finally a water tank here instead of the bathroom sink tonight?
No, I just told Corey. Nope.
Darn.
We're still gonna fill up our water bottles via the little pitcher.
It's cold in it.
We did not budget for a water bottle filler here. Small items equipment we didn't need. Took that one out.
There's your water fountain.
Postage. Of course that went.
Box rent, do we really have a P.O. box?
Yes.
Why?
When you send in your water bill, it's gotta go somewhere.
You can either drop it off or send it to a PO box.
Yeah. Oh, I already did. Why though?
It's
Well,
an
it's
extra paper,
postage.
probably.
Nikki, the biggest portion is
yeah.
postage. Buying stamps.
Right, but there's a box out there, right? So I guess I was just,
Right.
thought that's where it all
Yeah, I
went.
don't know, I think the court still gets their mail through box 147 at the post office, the biggest, I think it's all their mail through there.
Correct.
Oh, huh. Okay.
All right. Publications. I went somewhere in the middle. The year before we were really on, but at the same time I knew that we're gonna have to go through floodplain changes. That's in that land use, so that means multiple public hearings and publications. And then I mean it kind of falls in there, and I didn't know if when we do the water rate increase, if it's going to come out of water, so I have it kind of calculated an extra for publications there as well. Does that make sense? Registration, membership and registration, that's like our league dues and
Everybody goes to conference.
yeah. Accounting and auditing broken up.
So I have a question on that because it's in two departments.
Correct.
Why is that?
Under administration and
Facilities, I
Should be
think.
in quite a
few of them
Nikki.
actually. You see, it was actually
Financial
distributed
services.
this year. You know how you asked for Black Mountain to be broken down into multiple categories into all the different departments. We tried to do that with the auditing as well, so it wasn't one chunk. It's delivered between.
Looks like three of them.
Actually, there should be more than that.
So is that amount based on the current auditing company that I thought was still in question and was gonna be used or not?
Yep. It's our best current number.
But it hasn't been signed, like it's.
No. I've reached out to 2 other companies and I'm waiting for numbers back for your review, so you have multiples to look at. All right, back to where we were. Travel.
Sorry, can I stay on that? So I only see it in 3. So it's like that looks like the 3 primary: bookkeeping, payroll, financial, and admin.
City court,
Or
Is it in court?
Yep,
yeah.
Oh, how did I miss that?
payroll.
yep.
I saw payroll. I just didn't see court. Okay, sorry.
Then it's gonna jump water and sewer, both have it.
Yeah, it looks like it's in 8 places.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Just different amounts.
Sorry, carry on.
No, you're good. Travel. Where are we?
2750.
So that is planned.
Isn't that for training? Nobody went to training last year?
For travel.
Huh.
I'm usually go to conference, and as it was in Sydney, Montana in February, I did not go all the way to Sydney, Montana in February for conference. So this year, remember, it's in West Yellowstone, so that's a nice hop skip this fall here in October. Next spring, it will be, the mayors will be in Helena. It always is on a legislative year. The executive session is.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
legislative year again?
It is. So they always plan out that executive session in Helena, and then they change it to the next town or whatever. And it was, I think, Shoto and then Sydney and whatever. And nobody went to Fairmont this year, which I was actually really surprised.
It was midsummer, right? It's hard, or early summer?
May.
It was
I
in
was
May,
I remember, yeah.
Yeah.
but it was Fairmont, but none of us went to Fairmont.
I'm stupid in hindsight, huh?
So again, West Yellowstone in October. There's that. Training services. We left that so that we could have, oh no, that's not just for local government, that's in local government. That's to have people in if we need as well. We reviewed the last local government review, and it's, once I reviewed that, it actually said that training, the one recommendation that wasn't adopted by the council at the time was that training be obtained by all members of the council within 6 months of starting their office. But the council chose not to, at that time, adopt that as a necessity in the town.
Us?
No, because it was a decade ago.
Oh,
It wasn't.
okay, I
It
was
wasn't
like-
you. It wasn't you a decade ago. But so
That's
just in
probably been
case,
readdressed.
with that in mind, while it wasn't adopted, it's still good to have, and then we have it available if we need MSU to come down. MMIA does it for free. Corey really seemed to enjoy, and the staff enjoyed their last presentation down here. So, but they can't do all of it. Other purchase services. Ginger, break it down for me if you can. I know that's part of our Black
I have
Mountain.
to do a printout.
Okay, let's do a printout of that one.
I'm about brain dead here.
I'll ask you for a printout of that one. Commission projects. So to make Corey's economic dream a reality, I took from little sections here, there, and yonder. So I took 200 out of our commission projects because we didn't use any of it last year. So
And I'm sorry, that went towards your resort tax? Or what?
yes, his economic development. All right, and then insurance. Liability. Is that the only section with crime and fidelity? Is that the only?
It is. Yeah. It
Okay.
comes out of admin.
Okay.
Is that crime and, is that like, tell me about that insurance. What, does that belong with like the police?
No, anybody handling money,
Mm-hmm.
so that's, I
In
just put it in
administration.
admin, because I mean, it's gonna be your office staff.
Okay.
Susie, so it's like a theft insurance.
The 21,950 for building, is that Eric's office?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too. No, that's already been paid for.
Not all.
Not all?
Where are you?
At the very bottom line of
920.
No, I
admin.
believe that is the remainder of that.
Yeah, that's
right?
the remainder of it. You're right.
Yeah, so the 11,948 is what's left, right? Because you already spent, saying you spent 10,002 of the 21,950, so there's 11,948 left.
Yes.
Correct.
Is that the one you did a loan for?
No, we didn't do a loan for the building.
Okay.
We did a budget amendment.
That's what it was.
Yeah, to move it from buildings, but then you said we took a loan out of water or sewer.
From sewer for the grader.
For the grader. Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. And then, but we did take money out of water and sewer for the building as well.
Yes.
We did multiple and we did facilities.
Yes.
All right. Prosecutor. Whew. So, I based that off of the fact that without our current second officer filled, and the tickets should be about the same. So I left it about where we spent last year.
I have a question.
Okay.
Because without two officers writing tickets, there's less tickets to prosecute.
Sure.
So I went, well, if we had two officers, then we would maybe need to adjust it, but
So under court, there's legal services. But then there's a line item of legal services. Can you tell me what the difference of that is?
What do you mean?
So,
You're looking at right above court, so that's your prosecuting attorney for city court,
yeah, legal
Right.
services.
okay?
and then line item 411100, legal services.
Yep.
Is that,
That would be
Guza?
Mr. Guza, so that's your civil attorney.
I thought I saw it somewhere else too though.
So good. And then, so that's the court prosecutor, and then city court itself. There's just, so wages, we've got the judge and Susie, compensated absences. Where are you? You're thinking that there's another spot that I put it?
No, I don't think so.
I could have. So last year, I mean, when I went through it with Jordan, things that we used last year we didn't need. Like the 250 was a label maker. She said where she was good there. Office and supplies. We ran the number right about where we ran it. Where the numbers. Not really anticipating a giant uptick in court. Postage, we did go up there.
Stamps went up.
Because stamps went up so much. Membership.
So,
What?
sorry. So the court has its own PO box that's separate from.
It shares the same box with the town. Like.
Yeah, so that's why
So the cost. So is this
it's broke out into multiple accounts, Craig.
okay? But if it's not distributed evenly across multiple accounts. You got 500 for post. Well, I guess that's postage and box rent, so I guess it could be if it's buried in there. So okay.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of gauged off, I guess, just knowing too how many stamps an account uses a year, whether it's general fund or, the court, what they send out. Water and sewer are our biggest, of course.
Sure. Okay. Sorry. Keep going.
You're good. Membership and registration. So that's part of that is for conference. And The judge went last year. The judges are always required to attend, and we always split that with the county now. That's one of the benefits of having Jordan, is we don't pay full conference. We pay half. And we pay half the mileage and half the travel. But Susie didn't attend last year, so we still put it back in. Telephone's gone. There's the break into accounting and auditing.
But it never previously came out of that department, right?
Accounting and auditing?
Right.
Correct.
No, it always has.
But there's
It's always
nothing
been
for the,
broken, but
We didn't break it down before.
What is it?
The accounting and the auditing,
All right, no.
it wasn't before. So we figured if we're doing it with Black Mountain, start doing it that way. The auditors review that section as well.
okay.
Travel, that's for conference. And no, that's just conference. Correct? Am I right? Yeah.
How big of a, where's it at and how long is it?
Conference is a week long.
Oh, wow.
The legal conference.
Yeah.
And I know, I mean, like judges required, like it doesn't matter if you're dying, you are required to be there pretty much. Like you literally have to be in the ICU to get exempt from it. They do not let the judges not be there. Every judge, well, the last two both said that you go and you get sick because somebody there is really, really sick, but you can't not be there. So.
And where's that? Is that in Helena usually? Or it moves?
It moves.
Okay.
It floats all the way around, just like the other ones.
So
Okay.
if accounting and auditing got broken up, where previous years it had not been broken up, wouldn't we see that there would be a decrease in a department instead of it being an increase? Like, wouldn't there be one department where it had always been before, but now it's being taken from, and we would see a decrease?
That's a good question.
I'd have to pull all the other old numbers for the full years. You see what I'm saying?
well, it's an increase in, it's a decrease in general. It's only 92%.
That's not enough to account for all of that. I'll have to look at that.
No.
Because
Because prior years, I mean,
Or was it under?
We included the GASB in with the accounting and auditing instead of as other purchase service.
Okay, that's what it was.
Say that one more time, please.
Okay, so before we had the audit, strictly in the auditing and accounting,
Mm-hmm.
and then the GASB that they do, or we're doing, was in other purchase services. This year, it's all in auditing and accounting, a lump sum.
So that's where our
And
other.
that broke out into different
Tell me what GASB is again.
I've got GASB coming. I've asked for the GASB reports.
So that we can all understand. That's like the hardest part of when I was talking to Kurt and Ernie, that they do that little towns don't do for themselves anymore. There's the audit, but then there's the actual GASBs, and it's because the rules change so much every year. It's hard to keep up with them. So that's why there's been an increase in time in audit. One of the reasons, and it's the training amount and everything else for the GASBs. And I don't understand the entire GASBs. So we're trying to get a palpable something so we can all understand what they are, all the rules.
But we have to pay for
stands
it.
for Government Accounting Standards Board. And what they do is they put in more regulations
So the
that you
amount,
have to follow.
so the amount for accounting and auditing that is broken down into multiple departments on this budget, where was the whole amount last year? That it was taken from and broken down into each account? Because it's not.
It's
Like-
under other purchase services. If you look at 390 in each one, so like in the general fund right there, we have 6,000 instead of,
8,000.
correct. So under other purchase services, that 390 that really, it's better when it's broken down. That's where it was. So if
it
you
came
see,
from other purchase services.
yeah, most of it was the Gatsby's, and they were in there.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I think we're through court. Jury services that is in case you have to have a jury trial, that is the required like budget amount for travel and whatnot.
And you have to have that money in there.
Uh-huh.
When was the last time we had a jury trial?
I think it's been probably 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's required that you have the money available to have a jury and that it cannot come out of the court itself. So let's hope that that's enough for mileage and stuff. I got paid for my big day. All right. Financial services. This is mostly Ginger again. Part of this is broken down into. Are we getting Brenda broken into that as well? I think so.
For wages?
There's a percentage. That was the idea, is to move Brenda more into.
Yeah, she's in there.
Okay. So any questions there?
What is the membership on this one for?
There's a clerks association, and again, registration if I were to go to a conference.
Okay. And other purchase service in this one?
We'll break that one out.
Okay. How come there's no more telephone and telegraph either? There's
Because
no more.
we went to the different system, not through Three Rivers.
Just
So again,
voice over IP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we only pay like $10 a month for our phones.
I think it was running like 36 versus.
And
Yeah.
it's included in IT.
Oh,
to pay
okay.
for phones.
Okay, I remember that now.
Okay. Any other questions in there?
Wait, so you're gonna break down the other purchase services?
Yeah,
for
I have
this
a breakout
and admin?
there
Okay.
for all three of those. I have a breakout.
I got the elections, I'll get that estimate and add that in.
Payroll services.
That's me doing payroll.
Mm-hmm.
Is that normal?
Like quarterly. Yeah, quarterlies, year end.
Is that normal for you to do the payroll?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah,
And
the
quarterlies
one
for
that
who? For department heads?
No, for all employees, quarterly
Like
reports.
payroll quarterly.
Yeah, quarterly taxes, your payroll taxes, you gotta ship to the government every quarter.
There's other
Do that, right?
purchase services in that one too.
Carol does.
Yep, I have that broke out. I have that for a breakout. And then we'll add the elections. I left force.
Works is in the Susie's.
Planning and research services, consultant services.
That's Great West.
Oh, that's my on call. I always do that. Sorry.
Okay, sorry, can I interject back to the quarterly statements?
Yes.
Okay. Quarterly statements are to be presented to the commission for review. But we've never
I think
seen
they're
any.
talking financial,
Financial, not payroll,
not payroll.
not,
So elections, do we put it in both places or do you just put it in the other place? I don't know. We'll figure that out. Or if it should, I would think it would just all stay under local government review.
Okay, wait a minute. You lost me. Where are you?
Where you said
Elections.
elections, I
Yeah.
think we still leave it under the elections line item of
That's
local
right.
government review.
That's where we put it.
I think, yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
So I don't need an estimate. I don't need to do that. It's in.
No, I don't think,
Where is it though? Or I see it on here, but.
There's no money in there.
but we didn't take, but it's
Oh.
not there. We can adjust the number. So we'll get that fixed. All right. So this is the on-call stuff for Great West that is not water, sewer, such. Is the planning and research. Legal services is GUZA. That's our civil. Any questions there?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. So we went through that, we went through IT, we went through law enforcement, land use and inspection.
Yeah, that's Susie, right?
Right.
Yes and no. Well, yes. So that's Susie. And then, so
And
that's,
part for forest, right?
yeah, I'll go through those. So supplies. We took that down a little bit. But added postage and then added publications in there. So they were properly coded. There's the little planners group. That's the registration. The Montana Legal Planners or whatever. That's their registration amount. There's forest under professional services for the $350.
Wasn't his contract way more than that?
Professional services.
Yeah.
The 2,500?
2,500?
Yeah.
Wasn't it more than that?
Okay.
No, but it was an hourly increase. Remember, it went from $100 to $125 an hour. So that and then you asked if it was going to be a huge change to the budget or if we had room for it, and we said, well, we only used $858, so I don't think the $25 an hour is going to
A lot of that,
drastically affect the budget.
again, is paid back when we charge out
Okay.
It's built back.
for different.
Are y'all gonna get the revenue tonight?
No.
No.
Okay, good. Are you ready, Mark?
Yeah,
Okay.
we could. You sure?
To what? No, Craig, no. It's 10 o'clock, I'm already losing it.
Sense of adventure.
Consultants. Okay, so consultant services, that's very specifically, if you look underneath, there's 2,500 budgeted and 1,500 of that is for Great West's floodplain administrator. It's not Jeremiah anymore. I can't remember who I talked to. But basically they gave me the numbers for the floodplain update that we need to do to meet the new floodplain regulations for our area. So $1,500 is their like Great West actual personnel's time to do it, and then I put $1,000 in hearing and code updates, so that's for like multiple publications, and then the book updates when we go through the codifiers to have that updated in the town codes. Travel to the planners, training and training services. Other purchase services, part of that's Black Mountain. There's not a lot in there for land use. And oh yeah, so other purchase service there is Black Mountain, and then there's the rest of the code update. Okay, so I said that wrong. So the 1,000 up here is to have Great West help us with the hearings, the public hearings for, or if we have to have somebody from the DNRC come to help us with those hearings, because I don't think that any of us are probably good enough at floodplain to do our own public hearings. I'm not. It's kind of like when we did the wastewater stuff. I just had Great West.
It's kind of soggy there. It's not there.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, so that's where that is. Insurance, liability. I think that got us through everything, correct?
I think so.
What did we miss?
There's the funds to transfer out. Right. Okay. All right, I think that's all of it. All right, so we'll get some breakouts for the 390s. And then go through revenue.
And then revenue tomorrow.
And if there's something else, I mean, if you're gonna go home and read this to make sure that you can sleep tonight, and you have some more questions, just let us know so we can, if there's any others that you wanted to break down of.
Oh, is on your list, Ginger, the cash reserves and this, like those special accounts? I asked if you could print like a thing of like the cash reserves and then this like account rollovers or.
Yeah. I don't think I have a specific report that I can give
That
you.
does all of them?
I can give you actual numbers.
Okay.
But I don't think it's.
In like a Black Mountain report form.
Yeah.
Okay.
And don't pick up tonight if you're coming back tomorrow. We'll just be there.
Same bat time tomorrow.
Same bat channel.
So John, you have a house in the East then?
No. We use a lodge down there. I've actually been to GM of that lodge twice. I filled in when the GM's like for several months.
It's on my list.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go there.
I'm going to Costa Rica. I'm retired in Costa Rica.
I just wanted to know, like, have you been? Is it really that great?
Nope, never been, but.
Not on the island. Because you got the breeze coming off the ocean.
It seems like every tropical place. Like I went to Hawaii and the cockroaches were like.
You go in the jungle, but
I like one panda because they, the frost feels big, nasty, but.
But there's monkeys in the jungle, so.
Again, it is though. Oh, the monkeys. At the least. Yeah. I went to their. I don't like meat, I don't like diabetes. I would rather go there.
All right, thanks everyone.
yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, Corey.
See ya.